I usually do.
Oh, thank you.
Wendy just asked that I present some financials here today.
I was just reviewing
Okay.
where we were at last year and what we were getting.
Oh, okay, good.
Just figured.
Yeah, I told Steve he doesn't have to come to most of this meeting. He'll be here for a couple of minutes. He's just crashing on trying to get the
Yeah.
budget present.
No, it's just the financial study. I just thought we should
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah, he'll be back
get
for
the
that.
credential in there.
Yeah, well, of course.
And it came out of there
Oh, it looks like he got that.
Wendy just asked that I present some financials here today.
I was just reviewing where we were at last year and what we were getting.
Oh, okay. Good. Okay.
Just figured.
generators.
Okay.
See, turn on.
Number of answers are so high. No,
You're live.
We are live. Thank you. Thank you, Chris, and good afternoon, everybody. It is Wednesday for February 2026. And this is the regular meeting of the Waterville Valley Select Board. I am the chair, Rich Rita. Here along with me is Wendy Rathworth, the vice chair, and Dan Bancroft, select board member. Just to give everybody fair warning, the first agenda item after privilege of the floor is a review of the 2026 non-monetary warrant articles. We think that's going to take us about an hour. So everyone's welcome to stay here through that, of course. You have the right to do that, but if you're here for something else on the agenda, it's probably not going to come up until 3 or later, depending upon where it is on the agenda. So just fair warning for everybody on that matter. But I will entertain quickly a privilege of the floor if anybody is here for privilege of the floor. Yep. Could you say who you are and come on up to the microphone and where you live and all that kind of good stuff?
Excuse me, I'm Nadja Stratton. I live at 6 Boulderwood Way. Steve Larkin asked me to come to chat to you guys about Ski Jor, and I wasn't totally sure where that fell here, whether that's now or.
Okay, yeah, actually, that's something we should talk about. Have you talked to, or do you know, has Steve talked to Chief Noyes? Or-
Yes, I know he's had, excuse me, Chief Noyes and Patrick Payer. So I know they've been in communication.
All
They
right.
said for us to come today and chat to you guys also.
Okay, it's usually very helpful to have this discussion with either one or both of them here, because then they provide us what the status of the permitting is.
Yeah, I thought Patrick was maybe gonna be here, but he's.
This is probably, you may be planning to do it under department head updates, which is
Okay.
rather far down on the agenda.
So I'm happy to come back if it makes sense to do it when he's around.
Yeah, you may want to check with them, see what their plan is. But we do need to do it today because this is our last meeting before the ski joring
Yeah,
event,
it's 2
and we need
weeks
to
away.
approve it
Yeah.
today. So you're welcome to sit here and till we get there, if you want to check with them and see what their plan is. And we can certainly move that up towards that one issue up towards the top if they can come, say in an hour or so.
Speak of the devil.
Oh,
Just hear my ears ringing.
yeah. Are you ready to talk about the ski joring? Okay, why don't we just dispose of it now then, if we're okay with that? We have people here, so. Yes, what's the status?
So I have
Steve
an
Payer?
email. So Steve unfortunately couldn't make it today,
Yeah.
Timing wise, and neither could Leah. So he sent me an email, just a few points to talk about. It's exactly the same as last year. So I'm okay with parking on the street as long as you go up Boulder Path. Towards the end, there's no parking on the right, which he's well aware of. There's only gonna be one food vendor this year, and horses will be on the left side on the 8th fairway. Everything is on the 8th fairway again. Event is the same time, about 11:30 to 3 o'clock. Only issues that, or not issues, things that he brought up is in the past, Mark waived the fees for the food truck. So he was questioning if that was to be done again this year. And then we've always provided a detail for that event, which I'm gonna cover this year from 11 to 3. But as much as that, he has a beer garden like they had last year. He has sent a letter to liquor, we'll be doing it today. I have no objections to that. There was no problems last year. They had him as the bouncer at the, at
It's an enclosed area
Yeah,
off
it's
to
an
the
enclosed
side,
area.
yeah.
So if liquor asks, we won't have any issues against it either. So that's pretty much the gist. It's identical to last year. That's what it sounds like.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
The only thing I heard about last year where we may need some modification is I heard that there were not enough bathrooms.
Okay,
And last year I wasn't actually on the board at that time. I had suggested maybe using a few porta potties or whatever, bringing them in. I heard that there were very long lines for the bathrooms and so forth, so I don't know if that's something that should be considered. I would certainly recommend that.
I can have
Um,
Dave look at that from the health perspective, on the health side of it. I'm
Yeah.
not sure. I know there was talk about using Craig's new place.
Mhm.
So I
Yeah.
don't- I
That is
believe-
new from last year, but
Correct.
yeah.
So,
yeah,
we don't know if there are any
I don't know.
porta
if it's
potties being
enough or not.
rented this year.
There are none planned so far.
Okay.
It's just something to consider. That's the only thing I heard that was
Right.
at all, let's say, of a negative nature.
Okay.
Where we might be able to improve the overall experience for all of the guests
Okay.
coming to this. I think it's, pretty cool thing. Actually, I'd love to do it, but
Okay, yeah, I mean, have Dave check into, at least from a health
Yeah, I
perspective.
can have them look into it if it's a requirement or not. If they didn't have any, I don't remember them having them last year.
no,
They
they didn't.
Yeah.
No, so,
But I
don't
had
know if
raised
it's a
the
health
question
thing.
from the floor.
Right. well, I would also say that the organizers of the event should be looking for feedback after the event and should plan to make those changes for the, respond to that negative feedback. So
Right.
they should have looked at this issue and probably should have considered renting a couple porta potties.
Yeah.
That would be the proper way to do it. And so maybe that's a recommendation from us this year.
Okay.
And then have Dave
Yep.
take a look at it, but probably have porta potties going forward, maybe kind of late now.
Yeah, that's what I
I
was
think,
wondering now, questioning, because it is
It's the fourth, the 15th,
It is the
yeah,
15th, yes.
so,
But I've pretty much worked it. I think last year I didn't, but every year I've worked it.
right,
What we'll try to do is get ahead of the parking, just after Snows Mountain as well. I mean, it's a little tough, but it's 3 hours of tough parking, so.
He had talked about also the snowbank on the left side of Boulder Path to be cleared away if possible.
That was what I was gonna talk to Megan about. I can bring that up with you, is Megan pushing back some snow.
yeah, I think we
banks.
did that last time,
We
didn't
did, I
we?
believe we did as
Yeah,
well,
it's
so.
already,
Yeah.
we already have, we're planning to move everything.
Perfect.
Awesome.
And we just need to know where they're gonna park an ambulance again, so we can clear that spot.
I don't think we're gonna have a designated ambulance there. I don't think that's possible. I think we'll just leave that middle section open like we did last year a little bit, so that way we have access to get there, and I'll just cone it off when we get there. We just put cones on both sides and leave it open. I'll take care of that. Once it's followed.
Okay. So Chief, you're fine with the arrangements to date?
Yep.
Anything else you'd like to say to the board?
That was it. We
Any-
appreciate it.
Anything else the board would like to comment on,
No.
on this matter?
I believe last year the fees were waived.
Yes, I was
I
gonna say
would
we can
be
recommend a motion
Amenable to
to.
that, I
waive-
would make a motion to waive the fees for the ski.
And I know
For the
Friday, the food truck, I know her name,
Food
I know
truck
her as
fees.
Sammy.
Right.
That's, I've known her in Canton for years. She
Right.
did come in and apply for a permit, so she's already taken care of that.
Right, I think we've waived both the food truck fees and the permitting fees
Yes,
because this is a nonprofit event to support the race center, so
that's
I
my
would-
understanding.
if I would amend the motion to include both and second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Yep, aye,
Aye,
all right,
aye, aye.
Thank
so
you.
we're done.
Great.
Great, thank you,
You're welcome.
thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming by.
Yeah.
Okay, let us, if there's no one else for a privilege of the floor, let us now move through the zoning ordinances and the select board ordinances that we would like to, the latter, which we were considering putting on the ballot. Now, with regard to the zoning ordinances, I've talked to Liz Emerson, the town contract planner. She's unfortunately unable to make, actually, I've emailed text back and forth with her. She's unfortunately able to make the meeting this afternoon, and she will answer any questions the board has. But our only role as a select board is to, first of all, we have to put them on the warrant. And secondly, we cannot change, it's as is. But we have to decide whether we want to recommend them, not recommend them, or say nothing
Hmm.
about any particular warrant article. So this may go rather quickly. We can see how it is, but that's sort of our task in front of us, and we don't necessarily if there are questions about any of these that we think we need to have answers that we don't have, that I cannot provide, as the select board ex officio on the planning board, I think I can answer questions that Dan or Wendy you may have. But if not, we still have another meeting on the 18th where we can finally polish it up, and that's the meeting we're gonna vote out all our warrant articles.
Right.
That's
Can
the
we
planned day. But go ahead.
can we request or require further explanation for any of the articles?
Yes, thank you for reminding me. In fact, the planning board, the chair of the planning board, Bill Spence, is here also to be able to answer any questions. But if my memory serves, Bill, the planning board in its meeting next week is going to hear from the working group that was established to create explanation sheets for every single one of these warrants, discuss those and vote to have them submitted or put out with the warrant articles. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so again, we're a little bit before that happening,
Yeah.
but and again, there may be, I think there are 14 different zoning ordinance amendments. So there may be one or two where we might want to see that before we decide our position on the matter.
Yeah,
That may be it. So again, we'll have time to do it, but thank you for reminding me about that. I had
Sure.
forgotten that process. And as in every year, it's important because the zoning, by law, the amendment has to be a certain legal, I don't want to say legalistic, but a certain legal format, and there's no explanations in actually the text of what you're voting on. So as Wendy well knows, having been chair of the planning board, this has been a perennial issue every year, of people not understanding what's actually being voted on.
Yeah.
And I think in previous years, the planning board has also had a person present at the polls to answer any questions people have in a neutral manner, not at telling them which way to vote, but just this is what the intent of the plan, this is why it's there, and this is the intent of the planning board. I think that will probably still be a part of the process. And lastly, on zoning amendments, they're all part of the balloting in the day from 11 to 5. They're not discussed at the business session that starts at 6 p.m. where we get to yell at each other for 4 or 5 hours. You get to go in a booth and vote on it without any discussion at all. All right, enough of all that preamble, so to speak. Why don't we just start rolling down these? I think, let me just get my note open here. I think for the most part, the first few I think are self-explanatory. I don't know, we don't necessarily have to read them out. I mean, does anybody want to comment on, say, let me just roll it to it. Sorry, being a little bit.
okay.
The first one, amendment number 1, does either of the board members have any comment, issue on that one?
That's fine.
Are you fine? I'm fine with
Yeah.
voting it out as is. We're recommending that it be,
Yeah.
be
Yeah, I was
approved.
fine with that.
Okay, amendment number 2. A lot of these amendments are
fine.
just housekeeping.
Exactly,
Right,
kind
we're
of
trying
clarification.
clarification.
Should
They're
be
not
public
changing
when they
anything.
are.
Well, that'll be for the planning board, I think. This is just for the select board to decide whether they want to make any recommendations on them. It's really not our job to discuss them, frankly. But if you want to say anything about any of them, I mean, I can mention that this one, amendment number 2, is about conflict between standards. The more stringent requirement will hold. Any comment
No.
on that? Are we,
Yeah,
No,
Favor
I
of-
think that would be
favor of,
expected
okay.
in general.
so that would be another 3-0 recommendation from the select board. Number 3 is revising a definition. It's basically, again, housekeeping, removing outdated definitions and updating a number of existing definitions since state law has changed.
I think the only clarification I'm curious about there is, I know some of the later amendments also pertain to different definitions.
Right.
And so I wasn't sure what is gonna be covered in number 3 versus later ones.
So if you look at, you'd have to go to the amended version of the proposed zoning ordinance amendments, I think,
Yeah.
which everybody, you folks have, and go to the definition section,
Right.
Right, and now this isn't, what you have isn't the whole zoning, it's just the
Right.
parts that have been changed, so on page 7. You can
Yes.
see the change to,
Well, right, but is this
Right.
going to be voted on in amendment 3 or later when we talk about, I think it's number 6, with the ADU
With the
regulations,
ADUs, I-
including updating to that.
right, this particular one is in the definition.
But you see, amendment number 6
6, yeah, go ahead.
also states including updating the definition and related standards. So we have the definition for ADU.
Right.
In amendment number 6. So is it excluded from the amendment number 3?
No, I think it's meant specifically to be included in amendment, as part of amendment, as separated out as own amendment because of the change in state law.
Okay, okay.
Right, so we're gonna get to ADUs. I hope I said that right. Again, I wish Liz was here, to help me with, that's how I remember it. Bill, is your recollection on the definitions, differ from mine?
No. And that where the definitions are applied, such as in number 6 with regard to the ADU, it's
Yeah.
using the new definition.
Right, but a lot of the ADU, instead of just being 1 or 2 lines, it's a whole paragraph in the definition.
Well, yes, and amendment number 6 doesn't just refer
Right.
to the 8 changes in ADUs, it refers to updating the definition.
Right, so
So
I
you
think
have
we're trying to.
definitions coming up twice.
Twice, right, for the, and we,
It spells it all out, delineates the whole thing.
okay,
So it's not included in amendment number 3 then. Okay,
yes,
and with,
although it is kind of outdated because it's, state law changed on us,
exactly.
right?
Exactly,
I think the explanation sheet by the planning board will be helpful
yeah,
in this regard to point out
yeah,
what's included in Amendment 3, what definitions that we are actually, what they're actually talking about. As I recall, it with, and it's listed in, if you look at the notes here, dwelling unit, definition of junk,
yeah.
um,
Well, definition of dwelling unit, I had a question on. And again, perhaps this would come up in
Right.
clarifications. But it mentions, it states, this use shall not be deemed to include such transient occupancies as hotels, et cetera, and short-term rentals. So is the definition precluding short-term rentals from ADUs?
not in this particular amendment, no. This,
It's just the way that this definition reads.
okay, well, we could table that and go back and
Okay,
ask Liz about that, but I understand is she was trying to capture, again, please just speak up, Bill, if you remember as well, but as I recall, it was, they just, there was a case in New Hampshire where, it was a question whether or not a tent was a dwelling unit. And that this is meant to fix
sure.
those sorts of issues, but I don't recall a discussion about short-term rental being part of it. I'm just looking at the comment I have here. I can't read it because this print is too small for my old
This
eyes.
is directly from NHMA guidance.
Right. That this is the definition of dwelling unit that NHMA, New Hampshire Municipal Association. for
Yeah, I
all
mean,
the folks.
the first sentence seems like a definition and the second sentence just confuses me a bit, I guess.
Okay, but we can come back to,
Okay,
that, so we should probably table amendment number 3 until we can talk to Liz. But that's one question we have on it, the junk. Again, on the short-term rental, it's changing a dwelling unit to a building structure or land. That was the one I think that had to do with the tent. I think someone tried to claim a tent
yeah.
as an STR.
Backing up a little bit, family is struck out,
Completely. It's no longer a legal term.
right, but is still referred to in the zoning and that's fine.
I think it's the intention was to strike out family and change it completely everywhere.
Oh, I think there might, unless if this isn't completely up to date, there may have been some spots missed in the rest of the zoning. And what's included here anyway.
Okay, well, then we can, Bill, who's taking notes, can bring that to the Liz's attention, about, perhaps the word family not being completely struck out everywhere it needs to be struck out. I think that's the, really was the end of the definition portion of it. All right, so we'll come back to Amendment 3 for more questions. Really, it's ADU and family completely gone, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
I think so. I mean, maybe food service establishment, but I think I'm seeing my way through that.
yes, food service establishment comes in on Amendment 4.
Oh, okay. See, that's
Yeah.
where, okay, that's.
Yeah, it's
that's
again,
where
it's
this
another,
is- yeah.
another case. It's doing double duty, I suppose. But the idea was that just again, come up with how the state refers to it and it's in the RSA's. No one uses restaurant, it's food service establishment that covers a wide variety of food serving
It's very,
establishments.
I think it's very broad, and my only concern is that since it's not allowed in LDR or HDR,
Yes,
are we precluding some instances where people would assume they have the right to do certain things that are defined under food service that are now not gonna be
right.
allowed?
Hopefully
because
the
definition
the
change.
explanation note will say that this only refers to licensed food service
It does say, yeah,
establishments. So
Well-
if you're holding a potluck,
Would that
Well,
include
yeah,
a?
it's not covered by this.
well, it refers to state licensed establishments,
Right.
but like the homestead food license. Would in theory allow people to make things out of their homes. And so are those now precluded?
I don't think so. That, what was your understanding, Bill? That wasn't my understanding either.
Okay,
No, they're not
Okay.
eliminated.
great.
Does this cover food trucks as well?
Yes,
It's one of this, it is a food service establishment.
Okay,
There's a whole list of them in state law.
okay. Now, last year we ran into this issue where they had the food truck over by Snows Mountain.
right.
Has that been addressed through zoning
this
this
doesn't-
year or not?
This does address that. In fact, this amendment was a select board recommendation based on our discussion about this and then what I brought based on our discussion to the planning board. So, this, does not, change, what is allowed, for food service establishment in the, education district. What
It
they-
says
It's Snows
special,
Mountain,
The,
Snows
it's
Mountain.
actually
was a
Snows
special
Mountain Special
zone.
Zoning District.
okay,
So it defines it better, but doesn't change.
It
what-
doesn't
what's
change the
permitted.
take, what
Right.
is permitted, in that district.
okay.
So are we happy with, Amendment 4? Are we willing to vote that out?
Yes, I'm okay with
Okay,
that.
that's another 3-0. Amendment 5. So we need to look at, there's a couple bits here. This one's gonna be important and the explanatory notes are gonna be important for this one.
Yeah, this is way too vague. I think, for me to pull.
Well, this is all they can say, as you know.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
like for me to completely understand it. Like. For instance, in the definition for ADU. It refers to the principal dwelling unit.
Mm-hmm,
So then I looked to dwelling unit. And again, it's this whole statement of short-term rentals seeming to be. That second statement in dwelling unit, I think also ties back to the new definition for accessory dwelling unit, at least how I'm reading it. Where this use shall not be deemed to include short-term rentals.
right.
And so it makes it sound like dwelling unit cannot be included as a short-term unit. And the principal dwelling unit, the principal residence is
Right.
in the accessory dwelling unit, it's defined as the principal dwelling unit. And so it makes, in my mind, as I read back and forth between the two, it makes
Mhm.
it sound like short-term rentals are not allowed anywhere that there's a house.
Okay, that was not what the planning board was.
I understand that,
trying to
and
do,
perhaps
right.
I'm reading it incorrectly.
Yeah, I'd
but
have to
I
have
think
Liz-
That's where I'd like to have.
I'm just going to
further-
short-term rentals, which is actually the very last page of the revisions. And the new language, or accessory dwelling units and recreational vehicles should not be used as a short-term rental.
Yeah,
Your building structure and design.
I don't think I can support that. Because that would include attached dwelling units.
As written, it would.
Yeah.
But remember, anyone who's doing it now is grandfathered.
Sure. But what if someone purchases the house?
Right, no, this would prohibit the use of an attached. I did clarify that with Liz, 'cause I had the same question as you.
Yeah,
It would prohibit the use of an attached ADU as well as detached ADUs for short-term rentals.
yeah.
My
So
own,
just to clarify for
Right.
everyone listening, attached ADU, attached accessory dwelling unit would be like an in-law apartment for a house. So
as a short-term rental,
which
Right,
would be
you could-
disallowed
it would be disallowed as a short-term rental. You could still rent it out
for long term.
longer than 30 days. So
Right.
if you rent it longer than 30 days at a block, if you would, it's not considered a short-term rental.
Right. Yeah, just,
I think my own view of this is when we discussed it at the planning board is just put it before the town.
Hmm.
And let them decide, on the matter.
yeah, but that's where the explanation needs to be really crystal clear.
Right.
As to what, so people know what they're voting for.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
gonna be a critical one. And when I'm at the meeting on next Thursday, I will definitely
Yeah,
hone in on this particular one. Because it's not clear from the actual language. I mean,
no,
but again, it's not an intent to be deceptive. It's just
No,
that,
no,
you know,
it- what
you know,
was allowed,
speaking to
yeah.
everybody else, it's what you have, the way you have to legally say it. So I don't know what you think about it, Dan. We could move it forward. I think you'd be a no vote. Is that
I
what
would
you're
be a no
saying?
vote,
I
yeah.
would be a yes vote. So-
Let me go back.
The question
I was
that,
just reading on this. This is number 5.
short-term rental regulation, including adding a definition and clarifying standards for their operation. I think that definition is partially what you were getting at earlier, Wendy, and then
Yes.
clarifying I don't think anyone has any problems clarifying standards
No, no.
for their operation. And then they're actually putting them in the zoning as opposed to just being in
Right,
regulation. That's a big part of the short-term rental language, new language.
sure.
Yeah, I think I'm okay with that.
All right, and that goes down as a 2-1. Not people are gonna necessarily matter, but we should gotta do our duty. Okay, so that was number 5. So right now, we just gotta come back to number 3, right? So make sure I get my notes up to date.
I believe so.
And what?
No, I think you're right, yes.
Okay, so we go to 6. Again, there's whole new language on that one.
Yep.
It does not mention anything about short-term rentals.
Right.
And in that one, because it's in the short-term rental language, I do remember that. That I think is just to comply with state law, as I recall.
Yeah, I did have a question about, and just purely a question,
Yeah,
how a pre-existing detached structure would be considered an attached ADU.
Say that again, what does it say?
A
Yeah.
pre-existing detached structure, if an accessory dwelling unit were put in that, it would be considered an attached accessory dwelling unit.
Oh, I guess that's the
I'm
law
not even
says.
sure why that matters.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, it's right under number 3,
What page you on?
number 7. Oh, it's a very,
Yeah, just-
it's 3B.
That kind of doesn't make sense.
I thought it was odd. And I didn't understand why it would matter even.
So it's 3B, attached ADU, a unit that is within or physically connected to the principal dwelling unit. Okay, yeah, that's B. You said it
That's
was,
attached.
Or completely contained
completely contained, yeah,
within
a pre-existing detached structure. I assume this language is just,
That doesn't
you
make
just
sense.
completely, copied over from the state law.
It was inserted by
I guess that would
Liz.
make more sense, but.
It
would be
was
good to have that
inserted by
clarification.
Liz, it says.
Well, she inserted the state,
Oh, the
the
sentence,
state
okay.
law, all the red,
Um,
right?
Because I'd like confirmation. of
All
that.
right, we can double check. We can double, sure, we can double check on that.
That doesn't
Stick
actually
out.
make sense.
Well, I
Well,
think,
it would make sense if they were gonna be treated differently in the regulations.
Right.
Like if say short-term rentals would be allowed in attached accessory dwelling units. And in that case, a pre-existing detached unit could have an accessory dwelling unit and that would be allowed for short-term rental. Like if they were treated differently in
Okay.
the regulations, it would make sense, but they're being treated the same in the regulations, so it
Right,
didn't make any sense to me.
completely contained within the pre. I do know that the changes that we do make here, and I think it's in here, is that we only allow one
Only-
ADU.
Sure, right.
But this is pre-existing, so we're talking about those that have been grandfathered.
Well, a pre-existing
Attached.
detached structure, not
Right.
even ADU.
Right. But they can be turned into ADUs, pre-existing
And then
detached
they
structures.
magically qualify as attached.
Yeah,
if you had
Except
I
a
can't,
detached garage and you modified it to be an
Exactly.
ADU.
Yep.
You're now saying it's attached.
That's, well, I'm not saying it is what they're saying.
No,
I
I
wrote this-
understand
yes.
now,
Yeah,
that's the way it's worded,
exactly.
which doesn't make sense to me,
I mean,
because physically,
it's still detached.
you know.
Do you
unless
remember,
you're
Chief?
digging a tunnel.
It's either one or the other.
yeah.
It can't be
Well,
both.
apparently it's
We're-
both right now.
We're struggling with the language that Liz recommended, and unfortunately she couldn't make it. I didn't catch this earlier.
I don't have what she sent, so.
What she wrote was, and this is attached, this is the change, attached ADU, a unit that is within or physically connected to the principal dwelling unit, okay? Or completely contained within a pre-existing detached structure.
And does what she really mean, or completely contained within a pre-existing structure without the word detached? If you strike the word detached,
Well, then it's redundant.
yeah.
We'll have to talk to her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not recalling.
The way that
Yeah.
we have it defined in our zoning is it has to be attached to the primary
Right,
yeah,
principal residence.
right,
To be considered attached.
right.
If it is in a garage or any other structure, then it's detached and under a old
Right.
regulation, it wasn't allowed.
right.
Right.
That is, I think, what we all understood, but it's under B, under definition of attached ADU. You can have an attached ADU in a detached structure. That's pre-existing.
That's the new language
Yeah.
that's in here.
I would probably
Yeah,
have the same
right.
problem. you
Yeah.
would with
I'm
that.
guessing what it's trying to cover, it's a complete guess, I don't remember the discussion on this, Bill, I don't know if you do as well, that you can use a pre-existing structure as a
Under the new.
attached ADU, even though you have a principal residence.
Well, under.
So it becomes
under the new
attached?
State regulations, we can either prohibit attached or detached. We can't prohibit detached.
Right.
We allow attached.
Right.
You can't prohibit detached anymore.
Right.
So we would have considered in the past a garage with say an apartment upstairs as a detached.
Mm-hmm. Right,
Even though it was existing,
Yeah.
they wanted to change it and
Right.
make it an ADU, we would deny those.
Right,
because that zoning didn't allow it, right,
Because it didn't allow it.
right.
With the new changes, it is now allowed,
We have to allow it, yeah.
Yeah.
yes, we have to allow it.
whether it was pre-existing or not.
We'll ask,
Yeah.
all right, we'll ask her to come back and
Language.
help us with number 6.
I need some
Yeah,
clarification.
I think
on
that's,
that.
again, we can't change what's in front of us.
Right,
Right.
no, I
So
understand.
it's just a matter of
So, I'm
us,
not
us-
ready to vote on that one.
it's just a matter of
If you will.
what position we want to take on these for the warrant.
I don't have any true objections other than getting some clarification though.
Yeah, no, I think we can get that.
if you will.
I think what will be helpful will be a discussion at the planning board next week. where they will go through each one of these with an
Yeah.
explanation sheet. Liz will be there, and then I can raise these issues
Yeah.
with Liz.
Simple
point 'em out.
answer, I think some repairs are needed.
But
Well,
can we make
You
them at this
can't,
point?
these were already held, we already had a public hearing, and these were already voted on, so you can only explain what you meant at this
Can the
point.
That's okay.
planning board withdraw at this point?
I
Withdraw a warrant? article?
Don't think so.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
I don't
either,
think
but-
so. You voted, once they voted them
Yeah,
out, I
that's what I
don't
thought.
think so.
but- Okay.
That would be weird.
All right, let's move on. So that's 3 and 6 we want to get some
Let me go back to
clarification
the
on.
List.
Number 7,
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
right? That's just, it's implied now. This is just making it explicit.
Yeah, I would say yes. Vote
I'm a
yes.
yes on that one too.
I would vote yes on that one.
All right, that's a 3-0. Move it forward. Number 8, this is a state law.
Yeah.
We now
We
can only, we
yeah.
can only require 1 per residential unit.
Yeah, I'm good with
I
that.
think we had 1.5 or something like that.
Right, yeah.
And so that changes our zoning.
Yeah.
All right, it's 3-0. Number 9. This is an interesting one. This did come up from the Adventure Zone application as to where you actually draw the distance measurement for our off-site parking limit of 1,000 feet. And what the planning board is attempting to capture here, and this will be an explanatory notes, is that it should be from a specific point rather than at the edge of the property. It should be from the point that people are going to do whatever they need to do that event. So if it's like a ticketing booth, or if it's a building where you go to register, that's where you kick off the 1,000-foot line for parking. Is that what you remember too, Bill?
Yes.
So that will be in the explanatory notes. That makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so that's the 3-0 on 9. Number 10. We already have this in our zoning. This is just to clarify it. I mean, so it's kind of just putting the period to it.
Yeah.
That we cannot regulate political signs, and what we decided, the plan board decided a couple years ago, is that we will follow RSA 664.
Yep.
Which is state's view how you handle political
Yep.
signs. All right, so that's a 3-0 on 10. On number 11.
What was the reason for this?
Number 11, so it was a question of fairness. So it's actually, there's a little bit of complication underneath it. You may remember that we had an issue this past summer where a realty company, I think it was an outside realty company, had put a sign, put a couple signs out, one on the property that was for sale and
For
one
sale.
on the town right of way.
Yeah.
And we made an error as a board, but just setting and allowing, but signed the one on the town right away. It then changed from a for sale to a under contract.
Mhm.
And we got a feedback from folks in town saying that should not be allowed, and that is correct. So when you look at our use table, so we asked them to pull up the sign, as I recall, Chief, you asked them to pull up the sign on the.
Permit for the sign on the personal property.
Right.
Because in the use table,
It's not allowed,
temporary
right,
signs are not allowed on single family.
right, so that was not right. And that's what we're talking about here. The issue of, on the right of way is a completely separate issue that we're still kind of wrestling with, but that's not part of this
Okay.
amendment, as I understand. I'll pay attention to this and when we go through the explanatory notes.
Okay.
So this was introduced as a measure of fairness, because we allow temporary signs, which are signs of, I mean, there's some boundaries to it. I think 14 days and you can re-up once. And there's some requirements as to what those signs have to be in terms of their presentation, and if I can just put it that way, in measurement. Everybody but single-family homes could essentially, by our use table, have a temporary sign.
Right.
So the planning board thought that it was only fair that people who own single-family homes should have that right as well. So that's the
Okay.
genesis of this.
Okay, thank you.
So I have seen contractors put signs on lots and homes
Mhm.
where they're building
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
working and, you know, doing reconstruction and so forth.
Well,
And
unless
that's-
they get a permit.
How many permits do we get for those?
A handful, but the ones that don't
Okay.
get pulled.
Yeah.
Okay, because
I mean,
when
you
my
guys go
house,
around and
when
pull it
my
up, right?
house was built, there was a sign of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't realize there was a permit because the house was in the process needed.
It's a
because
temporary.
Of being built,
Yeah.
and it sat there for God knows how long, it's probably, you know, a year. Right?
No, it can
Uh,
happen. It's
so
way
how
up
do
there.
we-
So without this
How do we
change,
address uniform
building,
enforcement?
and there'd be no, they wouldn't even be able to apply for a permit without this change.
Mhm.
To even put a temporary sign as a builder for a single family home.
Yeah.
Period.
Because they're,
They-
because they're not
Period,
allowed.
for them. They could have it though, like on, in multifamily home situation, but they
Yeah.
still, they need they're allowed now, but that requires a permit.
Still requires a permit, yes.
Right, and that's an enforcement action, so that's on
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
This is
Okay.
not changing
I've,
any zoning.
in
that regard.
general, I've seen that, the house that was down the hill from mine, they had the same thing. And they had theirs, if you will, posted pretty high up, so it wasn't, you know,
Mhm.
it was pretty obvious when you're driving up the road.
I think in those sorts
Um,
of enforcement actions, I mean, someone's got to alert
Yeah,
the DPS the need to, and that's how we learned about this sign, for example.
okay,
But we can discuss that
So
as a
I'm-
enforcement.
I'm
issue.
okay with allowing, if you will, for sale and an under contract sign on somebody's property. For a couple of weeks. I don't have a problem with that at all. I do think we probably need to ponder and consider the enforcement of the other issue, which is these random signs that are being displayed by contractors,
Sure,
you know.
we can talk
If
about
you're
that.
putting a roof on, you know, Bob's Roofing.
Yeah, no, that's,
see the
that's
sign.
usually, that's the standard thing, and they,
So,
yeah,
so,
we can talk about that. That's outside the scope of this.
yeah, that's outside the scope of this, but
Okay,
it's just something I've noticed a lot of, if you will.
Mhm. I think one of the reasons why we brought this up is there were workarounds to this.
yeah, that was the other part of it.
To
Thank
the-
you, yeah.
Ordinance that realtors were filing permanent signs or contractors were filing permanent. signs.
Right, just to get around the temporary
To
sign.
get around the
the
temporary sign
sign
which
requirement.
permanent
That's right,
signs
I
are
forgotten.
allowed.
Gotcha.
So it was brought up that, because
Yeah.
there is even a workaround here.
Let's just make it,
Why not
let everybody stay within the process and do it properly.
Makes sense.
So I'm okay with.
All right, so this is a 3-0.
Yep.
3-0 approval, recommendation, I should say, from the select board. Number 12 is to amend the landscaping and property maintenance section of the zoning ordinance to include maintenance of structures. Do you remember what that was about, Bill? I think I have to look at the explanatory. I mean, it makes sense. I'm just trying to remember what it was that we were trying to capture. Hold on, I may have something.
So which structure is included in the definition?
It's now
It's
included. It was
new,
changed.
right.
It was changed to,
It's a
Go
struggle
ahead,
to
Bill.
remember, but I think what we were trying to say is that there's maintenance provisions for buildings. And this is to say, no matter what you build, it needs to be maintained.
right,
Makes sense,
because we were updating structure.
Yeah.
To capture everything.
right, and the height limits.
And that's right. And in the maintenance, it talked about buildings, right? Right, so this is changing it to maintenance of structures from
Yes.
maintenance of buildings.
Yes,
Got it. Okay,
because you could say
thank you.
that
Now I remember.
if it's a building, then you have to maintain it. But if somebody builds something that's outside of
That's
that,
not a building. There's
then
nothing in our
it's gonna be
zoning.
derelict.
There's nothing in our
That's-
zoning
we
that
don't want that.
captures,
Okay.
that. Okay, I'm good with this one.
Yes, I'm good with
Dan?
Yeah, I'm good with that one.
Okay, that's another.
I can see where that could come into play
Mm-hmm.
in a variety of scenarios.
And maybe even more so in the future. 13. So this was at the request of, this is the amended zoning map to change 2 lots from special civic to village commercial.
Mm.
This was at the request of the Waterville, excuse me, yeah.
White Mountain.
White Mountain Athletic Club. This a lot they own next to, and their lot where they have their facility. Some reason it's special civic, it's probably just a result of what the town was back 40, 50
Yeah.
years ago when the zoning was first brought in.
Yeah, we discussed this in a board meeting a while back. I'm
Yeah.
okay with this.
Yeah, so the board decided to
I'm okay
approve
with
this. Okay, 3-0 favor.
Yep.
And lastly, we did get to the end, number 14. And this is just housekeeping, correct minor grammatical and formatting errors.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm
Okay,
good with that.
so we want to go back, I'll see what the explanatory notes say, but on the 18th, we need to go back, for numbers 3 and 6.
3.
3 and 6, okay.
And 6 should be quick. It's just trying to understand,
That 1, 3,
yeah.
B, I
How
think it
how can
was,
something that's detached
be
also
attached.
be attached?
Well, it's attached to the detached unit. I mean, I get
Yeah.
that, but yeah, why? Is the question in my mind.
Yes.
Yeah. It's attached to the detached. That's easily understood, right? Okay, let's turn to the selectmen ordinances that we're considering changes. Chief, we very much appreciate your input in all of these since at our request, you went through our ordinance. This was again, it was not an attempt to change anything from a substantive point of view, but to update ordinances more than anything else, as the board is trying to bring a lot of these things, as is the planning board and zoning, up to speed with state law. So the first one had to do with bicycles,
Right, and that's covered by
a
state.
state
law.
RSA. So
And so we were going to remove our ordinance with respect to bicycles.
and that means the state law that was your recommendation.
Yeah, state law covers everything from the movement of bicycles, equipment, everything that we would ever want. It's basically, it's redundant, so.
And
Recommendation
incomplete
is
compared to
to-
what's it, compared to the state law. And there may be some changes coming there with e-bikes, I mean, in terms of speeds and how they're classified, right?
Yeah, I'd rather just keep it under.
Whatever the
law.
state
Yeah,
state does, some of those e-bikes can travel along at a pretty good clip.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they can be in our multi-purpose.
In
Yeah.
Jersey, they're trying to pass a law so that you have to have licenses and insurance for e-bikes,
That, there is a version of
Much
that
like
happening in.
a motorcycle.
Yeah. There is some action on that in the state, but I think, was it 30 miles an hour? Do you recall off the top of your head, Chief? It becomes a
it's
motorcycle,
So many.
or 50 miles an hour
Yeah,
becomes a
it's
motorcycle?
So many megahertz and
Yeah,
what it's capable of doing, that sort of thing, which can be very hard to, enforce.
Enforce,
Right now, we use
yeah.
pedals. It has to have pedals in order to qualify as an e-bike.
Right.
Otherwise,
That would seem
it's
basic.
otherwise, it's
Yeah.
I mean,
a motorcycle,
Yeah.
Potential.
Yeah, it'd be.
or some kind,
considered a
something, a
moped or
scooter,
motorcycle,
moped,
which then
moped, yeah.
You're required by license. Any e-bike, you're not required to register it or have a license.
Right. But these things can travel in our multi-purpose lanes, I think 30, some of these things can go like 30 miles an hour.
The little electric scooters,
Mhm.
they don't have pedals.
No,
And they're also electric and they
considered
can
an
also, what?
not considered an e-bike.
What are they covered under? Anything? I
No.
almost got run over by one of those one day. Okay,
Hey,
They'd be considered a pedestrian,
Yeah.
of the,
live free or die.
yeah,
it wasn't here actually, it was in a different state, but yeah.
yeah.
All right, so that's the, are we, as a board, are we happy with this?
Yeah, I'm good with that
This
one.
change?
with our previous decision,
Yes. Well, we just have to, we have to vote them out
I know.
to the warrant, so this one will be a 3-0
Yeah.
on the warrant. Ordinance 27. These should all be select board ordinances, by the way, when we go to the warrant article, not selectmen ordinances, but select board ordinances. Removal of animal waste. Chief, this was another recommendation on your
So
part.
we have a separate animal waste ordinance. If we adopt the proposed ordinance for dogs under number 7,
Mm-hmm.
I would recommend that conditionally that this would be repealed because it is included within the dog ordinance. So, it doesn't need to be redundant. in two
So
different
maybe
places.
what we need to do
Put
is
number 7 first.
put number 7 first.
Yes.
And
Yep.
then, and with language that states,
Yeah,
if
I
this
would
is passed,
recommend-
the ordinance, yeah,
Yes,
then we will vote on, or if it's not passed, then we keep ordinance 27.
Yeah, it says
Right.
27 is contingent upon the adoption of the dog ordinance amendment. So
Right.
right,
As
All right.
long as that one gets adopted, this one can still stay.
right. But just for clarification, as the general public's working through it, having 7 first.
Yeah, so we'll move to
Sure.
Selectmen Ordinance 7. Let's talk about that now. Now, I want to assure everybody, I'm not looking for that hour and a half, what was it, 10 years ago, 11 years ago, that rather raucous debate at town meeting over control of one's dogs, either physically or by command. We don't want to go through that again. We have enough issues where people are gonna be yelling at each other, I assure you, having to do with really important things like money and taxes. So what are we trying to accomplish with the changes here that you're recommending, Chief?
All this is a housekeeping thing. It just puts us aligned with the state statute. The state statute allows us to regulate it, and it just references the correct statutes under our ordinance that allows us to do nuisance, vicious, and at large.
Right, so this is just
So
adding a
there's
paragraph.
No changes what substantively to the ordinance. Is just a housekeeping thing to get us aligned into state statute.
So we would just add this paragraph to the current. We would just add this. Oh, do we need even to add it?
Well, there is a rewrite that,
We might have to do.
Yeah.
Right, okay,
Yeah.
on these, vicious dogs and menace
it
at
it
large.
all spells it, the ordinance all spells it
Already
out.
has
So
that.
what it does is it takes the definitions of all those from.
Okay, I get it.
state
I remember now.
definitions
All right, yeah,
And puts them into our ordinance, so
I remember now.
we can regulate those.
Right,
Well, we don't have to write a state statute citation for a dog.
Let the
So-
state define a dog. We don't need to be defining
Yeah.
dogs.
all right, so, are we good with our previous decision then to put this on the warrant, but we'll just move this one up? To
Yeah,
the,
I'm good with that.
after-
I'm
after
also good
bicycles.
with 27.
and 27, we're good with, and just the appropriate language, yeah. You guys can come in, we just started early, we're talking about other things, we'll be getting to you. You guys are coming up soon. So that brings us to road use events, ordinance number 18.
So this change, takes, a number of different meetings, and discussions that we were talking about, regulating road or special events. So basically it establishes a special event permit. So any, type of, large event that's gonna affect parking, public safety, closing of roads, any traffic issues.
Health issues like porta
Yeah.
potties,
And so, much like
right,
you heard the ski joring earlier, if this is established, there is now established a permit process that they complete a permit that gives public safety and the town the ability to look at the information, review it, and either approve or deny those. The road use event was a very specific ordinance
Right.
for closing a road.
right, and we were hanging everything on that,
We're hanging
Right.
stuff on that, and so what this does is it changes that to the
special events,
event, and it makes it a little bit more encompassing for basically the large events that are
Right.
on public, that would impact the public ways
Mhm.
right,
in the property. This is not a special permit if it's anything that's totally contained on private property. But if there's we feel that there's some sort of impact there, we have a process for
Right.
vetting that.
right,
So that's what this work is. We're leaving the road use event language, which was very specific and very,
Right.
really we haven't used it in
right,
many years.
as it was intended,
Yeah.
right, it was, right,
And so just changing it to cover these special events.
which we've been doing anyway,
Yes.
it's just making it clear.
Yep.
All right, are we all good with that?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I'm good.
that's another
I'm good.
3-0 on that. We like what we thought the first time, so. The last one here is fireworks. To amend it. for
So
fireworks.
this one again is just getting us in line with the state statute. There have been many changes. Bruce, with regards to enforcement and how we can enforce our fireworks.
Mhm.
Right.
So we're just getting in line with the state
Right,
statute.
this is not gonna prohibit them or
Nope, it
or
doesn't
allow
change-
them
it
any
doesn't-
changes
it doesn't
whatsoever in
change
the use,
anything.
on the usage of
Basically, it's
them.
more
Right,
puts us in line with the state statute for enforcement. So we don't want to be doing anything that's contradictory to what the state has, whether we're more or less restrictive. We just keep us in line with the state.
okay, are you good with the?
I'm good with it.
Yep, so this is a 3-0 as well. All right, thank you very much. David, I think that we rolled through then everything we could with zoning ordinance and select board ordinance changes.
Do we
Kristen,
wanna
you-
talk through that next articles?
Oh,
The-
petition.
Oh, we had one more, right, sorry,
Yeah.
excuse me, we had one more, actually two more. One is a petitioned article for air rights.
Well, for negotiating.
And it's common negotiating. This article is a petitioned article, so quickly, the history on this is. The board was approached by Tyrell Corporation to sponsor. Put forward an article that would per RSA 48-B. That would, if approved by town meeting, which is the requirement, would allow the select board to negotiate air rights. Full stop.
Negotiate a lease for air rights.
Well, all right, at least for air rights, and it comes into play for this town in particular, although this ordinance covers a wide variety, covers a wide variety of potentialities, air rights, the proposed gondola crosses two town roads, that's town property, so the developer needs to get air rights from the town. So this is just to be able to negotiate it, that's all the town will be voted on, so they gave us draft language, we looked at it, we ran it by town council, we made some changes and said we were gonna go with the changed version, there didn't seem to be any issue with that. And then lo and behold, a petitioned article on this very same issue arose, was presented to town hall. It is a legal petition, and in talking to town council, it would be very confusing if we had a select board and then a petition, and we have to allow, we cannot change the petition article, we cannot not put it on the warrant. Town council recommended that we just use the petition warrant as the article for discussion. So that's what this petitioned article going forward is. There'll be a lot of more discussion about this, I'm sure. But we're going to go with the petitioned article for the warrant, the language in the petitioned article per town council's recommendation. And then there's one non-monetary article, and that has to do with well, the town a number of years ago, a long time ago, actually, had voted to had voted for the town, for the tax collector, for the town manager to take over the responsibilities of the tax collector. It's since Mark's passing, it's become apparent that it would be much better if the tax collector actually was not the town manager. And so since the town voted to combine that job into the town manager's position, this article will remove that position from the town manager, and we will discuss this at town meeting, and we're not here to discuss it now, we're just here to vote to move it forward to the warrant article, so are we good with voting it?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
that's another 3-0. Okay, I think we've covered them all now.
Good job.
Well, I
Look at
hope
that.
we
And
did
so far,
that.
Just like we planned.
Yes, however, I think we need about 5 minutes for a
Right.
non-public,
Oh, no.
so we need 5 minutes for a non-public. I'd like, if everyone could you turn everything off, Kristen, and everyone except Bill? Leave the room, and it's literally will be 5 minutes, though, just close the door, hang out. Remember that. I don't know if you remember that. The library's amendment.
It might.
No, I think so.
Say it to a
Well,
lot of
you're
these other
just a
people.
young
They won't,
lady.
they won't know what that means. Right?
No, I know.
Remember? What's that? Good luck.
Okay.
Okay. Everybody survive out there?
You're doing an amazing job today.
Moving along. Yeah,
Good social time.
good. Let us know when we're back on and ready to go. Joan, are you here for the town manager recruitment update?
Here.
Okay, all right.
I'm in if you want, there's not much. I think,
No, I think neither Alex or Margaret are gonna show today, so I think, yeah. They're not ready. When Margaret, Steve showed me the email when I walked in. Are we good? Alrighty, so we have reconvened.
There's still people coming
Yeah,
in.
well, it's up to them to go. We have reconvened our regular meeting. And it is, the next item on the agenda is if we can have a little bit of quiet out there. All right, next is the Conservation Commission, presentation of Snows Brook remediation project. For the record, this is a project that was begun several years ago, but I'll just put it experienced a hiccup. It didn't finish in time. The money was reverted to fund balance, and so the Conservation Commission would like the town to authorize $41,000 to continue the project to completion in a special warrant article. The select board looked at this when it was doing its many budget discussions and decided it wanted to pause on that and would not support putting a warrant article forward because we are still waiting to talk to the engineering firm, Horizons, on the Corcoran Pond dredging project, which also includes a silt remediation aspect to it. And we became concerned that the two may no longer mesh up correctly. And an issue in front of town meeting that we could not answer would be, why are we spending $41,000 now when we're still waiting to hear from the engineers and what silt remediation will be? And I see Bill Dower here, and I don't know if we have a date yet as to when Horizons is going to be able to provide the board with any update. We asked them to relook at this we put that whole program on pause for like a year, about or at least over a year ago.
Nothing scheduled at this time
Okay,
from
so
with Horizon.
so we do want to get back to dredging, the issue of dredging the pond. And the reason we put it on pause is that the $4 million price tag was too much for us to swallow at the time. $2 million of which was a silt remediation aspect to that dredging project. So that's kind of the quick and dirty background. We told the Conservation Commission that we would like a more full briefing and to decide whether or not we want to change our collective mind on a warrant article. So I understand, let me turn over to Paul. If you can just introduce and let's get things rolling.
Yes. So I'm Paul Ricotta. I'm the chair of the Conservation Commission, and today we're joined with Rick Vanderpool, who's our consultant here with Ecosystems, and he is the fellow that's going to be in charge of the project and has a lot of experience in this area. And he's going to give a brief presentation how things work and the whole idea of the project and cost and everything that you possibly want to know about the project. So we are waiting for Kristen to come back with the USB thing. I don't think that she's got the presentation on there just yet, but she's going to be here in just a second.
Okay, we can move on to something else if you need
I think that might be best until she
All right.
gets this resolved. So
all right, let me just move on to town manager recruiting update. I heard just when I walked in this afternoon that our recruiter and select board, the town manager recruiting special committee we're not quite ready yet to brief us on where things stood. So we'll take a pass on that one, although I see Joan here. Joan, is there anything you wanted to say?
Last I saw is Alex,
Alex Torpe, from Rethink Local, yeah.
supposed to get back to Mark. And you're supposed to be trying to come up with times and dates for interviews next week. Is that-
Right. So where it stands now, as I understand it, is the actual job vacancy or job announcement closed on the 23rd of January. There were 11 potentially worthy candidates for further review. Of those 11, I think 5 or 6 went through came out of the phone screen as for further review. And that's what Alex is doing now to determine which of those to bring in front of the special committee to actually do interviews
Well,
of these people.
As I understand it, it's a rolling, so the first deadline was the 23rd.
Yes, it's still-
There's rolling.
It could still be open, right? It is still open, right? So, okay, that's the only update we have at this time. Okay, we need Steve to talk about the capital account balance encumbrances. So we'll skip over that. He said he'd come for that. That one, this next one, oh, are we good, Kristen? All right, let's do that. Because the other two are longer discussions.
When Steve's here.
And as Steve is here, we can talk about encumbrances while Kristen is getting things up and running. Oh, looks like, no, why don't we just, I guess we're good to go? All right, let's deal with this item then. Hi, Rick.
Okay, hi, nice to see you all today. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for the time, appreciate it. My name is Rick Vanapole, I live in Sandwich, I'm a private consultant in wetlands and water resources. As some of you may recall, I did the natural resources inventory for Waterville
Mhm.
Valley back about 7 years ago. And as a consequence of that, there was discussion about sediment and erosion control in town. And one of the big issues that had arisen at the time was this proverbial siltation of Cochran's Pond and how we could best approach that. So in looking at, and one of the findings of my NRI, by the way, was in fact that detention ponds were probably advantageous, especially for inflowing to both the Mad River and Cochran's Pond because of these issues that are associated with rapid runoff. So the Conservation Commission asked me to go ahead and take a look at Snow's Brook and the primary inflow to Cochran's Pond and see if there was anything that we could do to improve that situation. So I did. Next slide, please. Yeah. So
Top to the left, I think it's off the screen. Oh,
there it is. So just to show you a brief overview of the watershed, which is about 21 square miles or so. There's a first order stream according to the state. We found it to be more like a second or possibly a third order stream.
What does that mean?
And so first order is an upper perennial. When two upper perennials join, you get a second order. When you get two second order streams, you have a third order. And that just more flow, more siltation.
Higher number, more flow.
Mad River is a fourth order. Okay. So when we looked at the watershed, it was very clear that a couple things had gone on. First and foremost, it had been pretty heavily logged and there was very little wood left in the stream. Second, the water that had been allowed to rush through it during Hurricane Irene had destabilized the banks and caused a tremendous amount of bank incisement. That's, you know, downward movement of the erosional bank side. And then, of course, adding sediment in certain areas that cut off Snow's Brook from the floodplain. So in effect, what you had was this channelization that drove the water straight into Cochran's Pond. And without any sort of alteration or braiding out or connection with the floodplain. So what we looked at was through several different field excursions, a total of 4 different, has highlighted in red there in those stars, 4 different possible treatments that would help first slow down the velocity, prevent further erosion of the side bank, and allow for that sediment to drop out before it reaches the pond. The lowest one, on that particular map shows a site where we realized we could really use to connect the old floodplain with Snows Brook, that which had been cut off by Hurricane Irene. Next slide, please. When you look at the LiDAR, you can see the entrenchment. This is a 2018 image, the entrenchment of Snows Brook and all of the lateral tributaries that come down off of Lost Pass and towards Valley Road. And when you look at the various bends and curves that those tributaries take, there are a couple of evident places where floodplain reconnection would be optimal. Next slide, please. In the lowest condition, where I've got written upper dredge channel, there is a small island that was braided out during Hurricane Irene. A wood jam blocked flow into that northerly channel, and thereby the incisement just north of that island. And I'll just point it out here. Right here. It forced the flow down to the southern side of that island and effectively disconnected it from that 3.5 acre floodplain, which you see highlighted in yellow. So were we to dredge that old channel out and connect high flow waters into that floodplain, that would be the sort of bottom repository for whatever siltation might come down Snows Brook up to that point. And it's about 2.5 miles coming to that point from the furthest trip. So there's a fair amount of velocity, a fair amount of sediment that could be moved. Next slide, please. Fortunately, through communications with the commission, we ended up with the lot that abuts that property and abuts the Forest Service property and contains that floodplain area. Next slide, please. And if you look at the different places that we've proposed to connect the stream with the floodplain, there are two primaries. These have already been used in the past. You can kind of see the shaded areas in the LiDAR imagery there. And there again, this is a high flow connection, and that's just the bottom end of the pipe versus the other treatments that we proposed upstream that would help slow it down even more. So in part of that, next slide, please, is adding material to that island, wood jam material, allowing it to come through into the floodplain, and then, as we saw, was necessary to replace the 3 culverts that are along Pond Loop Trail. The first one down by the bridge is obviously in Forest Service property. The second one's on town, and the third one's sort of right on the line. I mean, literally the header to that culvert is in the forest, and the culvert itself, half of it is in the town property. So when I went out there with Megan, we talked about Bubar to talk about all 3 culverts, and she was like, yeah, we can do this, no problem. And we talked about headers, we talked about size, we talked about sufficient length to make sure that we had passage under a newly graded trail. And all this material I ran through the Forest Service. We've been out there, I don't know how many times with walking tours to try and get them to sort of get on board. I went out with their hydrologist, their fisheries biologist. We did a public tour out there. And to get through that sort of viable option for them was no small task. The downside is the timing was just off. As you know, this all came to a head last August. And we all know what happened last August. And so whereas there was this communication that was supposed to happen between the town and the forest, it didn't happen. And by the time I got to it, it was already too late. David and I walked up and talked to Brooke Brown, who was still interested in the project. She says, yeah, she's district ranger. She says, yeah, this seems, we're good to go, but we got to go through the process. We got to go through small projects day. Well, that all. So to get to the point here, I think the project's viable. The Forest Service seems to be in support of it. It's going to cost some money, But at the same time, it's going to save the town money. And that's the biggest point here. So we're trying to save. When Mark first presented this to me, I said, yeah, well, we could, $600,000 is the figure then. And I said, we could do a lot less and prevent this 6-year cycle of having to dredge the pond. So that was the thought. And if their hydrologist, Forest Service hydrologist signed off on it, he's not any stool pigeon. He knows what he's talking about. He said, yeah, this will probably help. So we've got support from engineering. We got support from the Conservation Commission, and we're just now asking for your support to move this ahead.
Could you talk a little bit about the costs?
So some of the costs have already been expended, as you all know. $7,200 I've spent over the past 4.5 years to do all the background studies, to get all this information in front of the Forest Service so that they can look at it and approve it and effectively say, yeah, this is going to work. There's some in-kind costs, whatever the town new project manager might be, and that's, to be borne by the town. There's a lot of volunteers who are willing to help do the treatments, which isn't just, talking about excavation of the 2 channels, but also for putting down strategic wood in the stream tributaries to slow that velocity down. I've already got a Sawyer besides myself. He and I have worked together for 6 years doing this stream treatment for Tin Mountain primarily, but he's ready to go. And then there's just some cost of materials, some gas and oil, riprap and stuff like that around where the culverts are going to be replaced. And at the end of the day, we think that under $50,000, and even still with the contingencies, you can see there at 10,000, almost 8,000 and change, we can still do this for what you quoted before, $41,000. It would take place probably at this point in 2027 at the low water time period, which would give us enough time to get all the design plans in front of the forest and have their sign off to do the municipal agreements, to go through the small projects day process, which
You're
I've
looking
got.
at the spring or the
this-
fall?
It'd be a fall small
So
project,
fall,
yeah.
so
fall.
fall 26.
Yeah, fall 26, and that would let us set up all the other agreements that need to be in place, because this is going to be it has to go through NEPA, because most of it's on the forest, but as Mark and Landon and Brooke said, this will be a categorical exclusion, which is nice. A CE is a much lower bar to jump over to get through their environmental reviews. So that was the plan, is to go, use that process to get their sign off on it so then the town could do the work. And at the end of the day, you got an improved trail, you've got improved culvert, you've got better siltation going off-site instead of into the pond. And you've got, I think, some people who are going to sleep easier at the Waterville Place condominiums. I don't know if you.
So you're talking a work schedule that begins in 2027?
That's correct.
Okay,
And-
that differs
yeah.
from
Yeah,
what we discussed
We thought.
before, which
and-
was 2026.
That's correct. That's correct. And what happened was when I checked in with Brooke yesterday, I said, Brooke, did you ever get anything from the town for Small Projects Day? She says, no. And now our fall Small Projects Day in the spring is full. The agenda's full. So the earliest we could get in would be the fall. So the
What are
work,
buttons on that submission from the town side.
well, that's.
Is that you or is that?
So we've got most of it already filled out. It's a 4-page form. Most of it's already filled out, but there's a couple of pieces in here that somebody in the town, not me, but a town official has to actually address. So whoever you want to designate, that would be my next step, is to say, okay, this is our pathway to getting on the fall agenda.
Mhm.
And then moving from there, going ahead from there.
But we haven't seen that form. The board hasn't at this juncture. So I'm not sure what's on it or what's needed.
Well, we need to decide whether we're gonna
Yeah,
move it forward. Then we can-
Yes.
Then we can,
Even-
then we can look at it.
even,
Yeah.
so, I mean,
Yeah, no.
that's kind of where we're at.
Sure.
We've been
Yeah.
operating with scant information at best.
Yeah, well, I hope, as you know, I'm available for any questions, whoever picks this up and takes it from the town side. email, call, easy. Because we've been through this, the commission and I have been through this for several years. We've been out there so much, we know this project inside and out. And I think too, what was nice was going out last fall with Megan, and boy, within a day, she had flagged up the trees they were going to cut to get to the axe. Everything was going, I filled out the wetlands permit too. I had it ready for signature. That's how far along this thing was. So, you know, it
How
would,
much of that needs to be redone with respect to wetlands permit and all
it's,
of
I've
the
got,
other permitting?
all I need are signatures. Update, yeah. All I need is some I mean, that's what you guys paid me to do, was to do the background study, to present it to the forest, to prepare the plan, to set the contractors up, and to fill out the wetlands permit. That's what that $7,000 paid for the last 3.5 years. So, you know, it's your call. You can say, okay, well, you know, we don't feel it's worth enough until we hear back from Horizons, whatever it is. But I would recommend, just as a safety, that we at least get to small projects, put that in, so that if Horizons come back and says, yeah, this is going to be I mean, we're going to do a joint permit, as you recall. Horizons, we had it all synced up, and then of course it got pulled, so. that's-
You spoke at length about the reaccessing the original floodplain.
Yeah.
But what are the steps to be taken further upstream from that?
So there are three. The primary is dropping strategic wood in the tributaries to prevent the sediment that's coming off the tributaries, and there were a lot of them, as you saw on
Okay,
that
so it's
map.
not in the main part of the stream, but
Then
it's what's feeding them.
Yeah, so then there would be two in the main stem.
Okay.
One would be the wood jam by that island, so that we can help divert flow back around the island and into that overflow bank. And the second would be another wood jam. It's up, there it is. It says possible log jam at white birch or
Okay.
yellow birch. That would be another main stem in stream treatment. And again, I looked at these with Mark and Prout and Landon Grukowski from the forest, and they both thought, yeah, this makes a lot of sense. And that upper one would connect to a smaller floodplain as well. So that,
Okay.
you know, that's, the idea is to slow the velocity down, connect to the floodplain, drop the sediment out before it has a chance to get under Valley View Road. So, you know,
Thank you.
Megan, with respect to your team's involvement in this, and the costs associated with that, have you looked at what's been presented to understand what things might cost? Do you agree with what Rick has said and so forth?
Yeah, I mean. Assuming we're still doing the same, if we're going back to doing the amount of work that were talked about originally.
Yeah.
It would be a little bit of a cost difference that would need to,
How much?
I would have to get updated costs. Cause mainly it's machine rental,
Okay.
those
So
change pretty regularly.
that's an important consideration, because the 41,000 that we were asked to approve may be some different number.
Yeah.
And in fact, it's going to be some different number based on what you've just said.
Well, the issue will be is if it's a higher number, because these things are approved not to exceed. Right, it could be
Correct.
lower
Yeah.
and we're good, but if we ask for and the town authorizes 41,000, but it's 50,000.
Right.
We'd have to come up with another,
No, exactly.
Well, the 10,000 in the Waterville DPW, is that for
That's for-
materials or is that?
no, that's for excavator.
That's for the rental.
That's for the rental, and then
Okay.
there's 7,500 for engineering, which I put in there for the forest in case they need more site plans than I've provided. They don't always require that for certain treatments, but I just buffered it up and put in another 7,500 in case we needed to
okay,
do that.
that's good to know.
So there's 17,500 right there, which I think should get us down the road, because I don't know about you, Megan, but you know, in terms of excavator use, once, you know, Ryan and I get done felling the trees and moving them out of the way, you know, you might have a couple, 3 days anyway to get through that one ditch that we walked up to, and the smaller one's almost, you know, that's hardly anything, that little
Yeah.
one.
Costs, cause
Yeah.
I have
That's,
things on hand currently,
yeah,
but I can't guarantee they won't be used.
right.
So,
Yeah, so there you go.
RVDP.
No, that's me. Yeah,
Those were-
that'd be me.
those were the initials.
Gotcha.
So,
Thank
do you have a sense of what, if we had to get all new? So this presumes that we're gonna have culverts on hand, the 41.
Yes.
What,
Mhm,
do you have
that's
any
right.
idea what new culverts that would work for this project will cost? In the event they were used before we got a chance to use them for this?
Roughly 25 per stick. Current. rate. So
25.
assuming it's still only 3 sticks.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Roughly 8 grand
Mm-hmm.
with trucking.
So there's a potential, there's a potential we'll need another 8. Unless we don't need the.
Yeah, unless
some
we
of the
don't
money
need
you're
the
saying.
the
All right, so there's
engineering
still some
plans,
Stuff there.
right?
I guess it seems to me the key question that people will ask is, all right, it all seems like a good project, like it seemed several years ago.
Mhm.
But it's now, for all intents and purposes, disconnected from what had been a larger engineering plan, if I can put it that way. Will this not duplicate potentially what an engineering plan for Corcoran Pond dredging and so the basin, the capture basins that you mentioned? Or do we are we able to save the money at that end
Right.
in terms of the
Yeah.
capture
Good
space?
question. And then I haven't seen the site-specific plans for that. But one thing that I do know is that you want to trap the sediment before it hits Valley View Road. That's really where you're going to get the most effectiveness. Because once it goes through that
Mhm.
abutment, it's, it's going to fan out and do what it does.
Right.
But, the velocity that's going to bring the most sediment is going to shoot straight through that opening into the pond.
Yeah, like it
And-
does now.
Yeah, like it does now.
And it curves around to
So,
the,
so
to the right.
if you can drop that before you get there, that's gonna be the best approach in my humble
This is
opinion.
probably an unfair question, but can you estimate what that would be in terms of so I guess it'll depend on the storm?
Yeah, I mean, when we did the horizon elevations, on that overtop flow, we were looking at a 2% storm. So that's do the math, and it's what the watershed, when I worked on the stream stats formulas that look at all of the, watershed water budget effectively, a 2% storm would achieve that level, top of bank at that point. And so what we want to do is have that top of bank 2%, but then if the water comes around that island, it's going to hit it on a 15% or a 20% storm. In other words, more frequently, every 5 years, you're going to get overtop
Something like that.
sedimentation. Because don't forget, the low flows aren't the issues. That's not when the sediment's moving. It's only when you get the really high flows. So that's when you want to accommodate that sediment deposition. So,
So if I understood you correctly, the catch basin we were looking at in the pond could be, which was a $2 million part of the project.
mhm.
Are you saying that that would be significantly reduced or perhaps even eliminated?
Again, I haven't seen the specs
Right,
on
no,
it, but
I'm not trying to,
it's possible. I
Pin you
would
down.
say,
understand.
in the best case scenario, that it wouldn't be necessary by the time the water reached that catch basin. But I'm not gonna,
I understand. No,
Yeah,
I'm not trying
it's
to say
a bit of a-
guaranteeing it. Well, no, I get it.
Just
I get
a
it.
simple question. If the sedimentation basins that have been considered for the pond side, if those were relocated to the other side of the road, how does that disrupt the project as you've planned it today? And would that, if you will, negate the effectiveness of the project that you've put forth?
Well, I can answer that in part, because again, as a hypothetical, depending upon how that would be constructed, it could, A, interrupt or affect the plan we have today, or B, replace it. The hydrologist and I looked at a secondary site that's on the south side of the brook, and it's farther upstream. It's on the forest.
Mhm.
And during Irene, there was a tremendous amount of material that deposited in there. And we talked about that as a possible option, reconnect that floodplain. The problem was, by the time the storm was done, it had altered the channel away from that floodplain area, so it would require greater engineering. And at that point, we were easily well into the 6, probably 7 figures to re-engage that particular floodplain. So again, I was looking for the easiest but most effective solution that would be a cost, price point that the town would be attracted by, and not try and do something that would replace that dredging fee or sedimentation basin fee. So,
Do you have any questions?
No,
But the
I
two
think for-
projects are not, sorry.
No, I think for this cost and the potential benefit, even if it ends up being in conjunction with another engineered part of how we do Corcoran, I think it sounds like something to move forward with.
Yeah, I think we can move forward with it as well.
Yeah.
The warrant article can be written so that again, it's just an authorization.
Right.
And now we're not
Mhm.
talking until
2027,
27.
yeah.
But with the authorization is there, and there could be money spent, but I'm hoping that sometime in the medium term, maybe, we'll hear from Horizons. And it would be helpful if they would integrate, if we were to go forward with this, obviously, their calculations and engineerings for the basin, the capture basin that they have planned, the $2 million concrete structure. I don't recall that, whether or not that had taken into account this plan. Do you remember, Rick? I don't.
I don't think so.
I didn't
Because
think so either.
initially, when we were gonna
Yeah.
do permitting, it was merely for their work in the current pond configuration and for the work that we would do above that pond in the stream. So it was it was going to be a joint permit. And when I talked about it with Caitlin, she said, yeah, we can do this. So, but when that got pulled out, obviously, and we were left to do our own permit, which I went ahead and did,
Okay.
permit application, I should say.
Bill, no, go ahead. I was gonna see if Bill had any comment, if you want to.
I
say
just
something.
want to ask one more question.
Yeah.
Given that we would be, if you will, re-engineering
Mhm.
the sedimentation basin project, if we were to move those across the street. Would it be possible to try and ensure that they are not incompatible with each other? I'm worried about a compatibility issue. Like
Hmm.
you're doing something and then we come in and do something else, and then the two are completely incompatible and we make the problem worse. Right? And that's obviously
Yeah.
a concern, worse under a large storm scenario, for instance. From a town's perspective, town community perspective, I think the community would appreciate us making an effort to do something at a relatively cheap cost. Where we're getting maybe a pretty good bang for our buck on that.
Yeah, potentially.
If we do move forward with this, I would suggest we would increase something over the
Yeah,
41K.
no, I think we do need
would
to talk
do
about that, but I just wanted to see.
You
what
know,
the
we
sense
would
of
do
the
an
board was first.
NTE of a bit greater number.
But let me just see what Bill, I mean, you look like you've been chomping at the bit
Yeah.
there to say something.
So, I am fully supportive of what Rick just presented based upon my experience working on the bigger forest, and especially as a result
Right.
of Hurricane Irene and
Right.
all of this that we saw across the forest. Horizons only looked,
Right, from the
From there
alley
down.
road on,
Yeah.
right,
and when I asked them, did they consider anything
right.
on this side, their answer was, we were told that's a non-starter, don't even look over there. So they didn't even
Okay.
consider anything over there. My first question is, let's get the people like Rich and others, the powers that know about this kind of thing,
Yeah.
geomorphologists, et cetera, and look at the whole watershed.
Right,
A 21 square mile watershed is not the biggest on the forest, but it's pretty big. And when rain falls on it, it all ends up right there. And anything that can be done to stabilize the stream, whether it's the first, second, or third order, will help reduce the amount of sediment that ends up in the pond. My thoughts are to work with people like Rich and put the structure that
basin.
Horizons is proposing in the
Right.
pond. Build a engineered and constructed more natural structure that will catch the sediment. We're not gonna stop the sediment.
Right.
Can't be done. Especially if in an Irene, and in an Irene, you just have to deal with it after it's over most of the time, but if we can deal with everything up to the Irene and reduce the amount of sediment. And then build something on this side of the road that's designed to excavate. Anywhere you slow water down, that's where it's gonna drop its sediment. So if we could build something over there where we can slow the water down or send it out into the floodplain that Rich was describing. But then have a plan to clean it out over there. That ideally would cause the town to never have to dredge Corcoran Pond again. And so I think a combined project, this one is outstanding.
Mhm.
I would like to go even further, work with Rich, go even further. Not spend $2 million on a concrete structure in the pond, but spend something
Right,
over here to do what that one was intended to do, but leave the pond alone. Let the pond be the pond. Now, none of this dredges Corcoran Pond, so
right,
there's
no, we still have that
there's
issue,
still
right.
that issue.
That's still a $2 million project, a
Correct.
$2.1 million
According
project.
to Horizons. at
Right.
least. I think it could be done for less than that, but that's
Okay,
their
so-
estimate at
But
this
if we
point.
take what was $4 million project and through some little bit of creativity and work up front, we might be able to reduce that to something less than 3 maybe. Then we've added, good value to the community here.
So I think I think at this point, I think the board, we have to is favorable to it moving forward with this and putting it on as a special warrant article. I agree with Dan. I think we need to plus up, maybe make it around 50
Yeah.
or something
I
like
was-
that.
That was my immediate thought, 50 or 55 in the NTE number.
Yeah.
Paul's been trying to say something.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah,
So
Paul.
Steve and I went over the numbers,
Right.
this week.
Yep.
So the 50K that was originally allocated.
Right.
As you see the budget he had up there.
Yep.
And he spent 77. So the real number right now is not really 41K. It's a little bit more. It's about 43.
Okay,
42,
fair enough.
42,875, I think was the number.
Okay.
So that's kind of just, where we're at with the
Okay.
number, at least with Steve's accounting. We went through all the invoices that Rick
Okay.
submitted and so on. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So then Megan's adding potentially 8 if we don't have any culverts.
Right.
So.
But there's potential savings in,
So you say
Yeah,
43
budget.
plus 8's 51, so maybe you add, we do an NTE of 55 or something.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Rich, are the culverts that the town has properly sized in your mind?
Yeah,
Because I hate to use something just because we have it.
no.
When
When I
it
checked with
really
Megan,
should be something bigger than that.
That was the first thing I said. What
Okay.
size are they? And
Yeah,
she
'cause
confirmed that the
We've
ones
done
we
that,
have.
we've done that before and wish we
Yeah,
hadn't.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
So.
We also have
Okay.
a size bigger as well, so if it
Yeah.
needed to be ones that weird.
Yeah, so that- It would improve all three immediately.
Good.
They're all.
Okay, I just want to, because everything, not just as a result of Irene, but everything in the Forest Service is being upsized because of events like Irene.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we have a pretty hefty agenda still to go through. I think the board has by consensus decided we will move forward with the warrant article.
Question,
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, Reggie.
dams that you plan on doing, that there were two of them that would be above the side of the island.
Yes.
What happens if we have another Irene? Are they going to float down, break down and cause even more flooding? Is that a problem that you've thought about?
So, you know, wood will move, sediment will move. We had, the short answer is no. I treated a, stream up in Chatham, Kearsarge Brook, and we had a 6.5 inch, 24-hour event. And I had placed 106 wood jams in that stream, not one of them moved.
Okay, great.
So I was convinced that this stuff actually does work on the ground. Meanwhile, all the branches, they were all strainers, all the material was caught up between every single one of them. And the year, or 2 years earlier, that culvert on the bottom of Kearsarge had washed out and the town had to replace it at no small cost. So I think it's a proven method of success for that part of it. And it's just additional insurance to this floodplain reconnect project down below.
Okay, so we will, I think we need to work on a warrant article
Yep.
on the matter, probably in the vicinity of $55,000. And I think the board will vote it as 3-0 in favor.
Yes.
And then we'll just see what town meeting does in the matter. But the critical thing, I think, is part of the presentation, which I think the Conservation Commission may need to make, I'm still working through this at town meeting, is how it's going to connect to the larger dredging / silt remediation project that's currently on hold, but that we've asked Horizons engineers to relook at. Obviously now relook at in light of moving forward with this project, so that we get the best bang for the buck, I guess, and that we don't do this and then something else comes along which screws this up.
Or if we do this, it's with an understanding that this may not be the complete and total solution, but it may certainly help
Sure.
reduce costs
Sure.
on the downstream side, if you will.
Yeah, well, I think we'll have something from Horizons before really much more money is spent, if I'm looking at the schedule properly on this project anyway. Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Okay, thank you for your
Thanks.
time.
Thank you.
Well, we need to put forward, we need to figure out the language of a warrant article. We don't have that yet.
Article that you're.
Yes.
That we haven't
Yes.
created yet? Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes. Along the lines that I mentioned, yes.
Rich,
Oh, yeah, Charles.
just one quick question.
Yeah,
If the Conservation Commission is going to speak to the town in support of this.
right.
From what I've heard, there's been some concern by the select board to what extent this remediation project would overlap with or interfere with a sedimentation basin project. I still am clueless as to quite where these sediment basins would go upstream from Valley Road.
Yeah.
And I can't even begin to comment on that.
Right.
'Cause
Well, I
I
think we'll
really
know by
don't
then.
understand
I think the last comment I made, Charles, is we need to see. We'll hopefully we'll see something.
Yeah. Okay.
But prior to the meeting, I don't know. I don't think Horizon's gonna be able to give us anything. It's just
Okay.
gonna have to be an open question that we're working on coordinating the two projects, but there seems ample evidence that they will work in concert together and result in substantial savings to the town with regard to silt remediation. I mean, I think that would be the thrust of the argument, but we'll work through the language and then we'll work through how it's going to be presented at town meeting. All right, John, I'm done with this. We need to move on.
Sorry, Chair, just one quick question.
All right, quick.
For John Racine of Conservation Commission, and my question probably would be to Bill.
Mhm.
Can the pond be dredged in pieces, in sections? Does it have to be done all at once, or can you do a quarter one every year? Is that possible? Would any one of you know that question? Answer?
Yes.
Okay.
But why?
We can talk about it another time. I just.
But why? It will cost a lot more.
Cost
Yeah.
more over time,
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you don't have the
Do it that
money
way.
up front and you can do that, it's just a question. Thank you very
It
much.
could be
What will
that
happen is if you dredge here, this will move over there.
there, and then we
And then you gotta move- You
re-dredging.
gotta move it again.
Yeah,
Uh,
I just know that other
Okay.
places do that.
It's also a big production for town square and like tourism and stuff.
And we want to just shut down for a certain period of time and do it and not extend it over 2 or 3 seasons. All right, we're moving on now. Thank you, everybody. I want to have dinner before 8 o'clock.
Yes, please.
All right, Kristen, I don't know if Steve is watching this, but whenever he's available to talk about, he is watching it? All right. All right, so when he shows up, we'll talk about the capital account balances, encumbrances. That's such an exciting topic. Can't wait to get to that. All right, the next item on the agenda is a review of the planning board's decision concerning the Adventure Zone parking. So, I mean, the decision, the notice of decision was published. And the conditions, as the other members of the planning board know, we had some serious reservations about parking. Nonetheless, the select board the planning board approved what they approved. So I think we have to look at how we're going to approach things going forward with the parking plan as it was approved. So 3 things come immediately to mind. One is that it was pretty apparent that nobody had a handle, despite 2 parking studies. Nobody had a handle on exactly what required parking, what parking there is now required, if I can put it that way. We have certain businesses in there, the zoning requires a certain type of business to have a certain parking calculation. No one provided that. I think it's incumbent upon the planning board, and I will raise this with your agreement at the planning board meeting on next Thursday, that they use the planning boards, or the towns actually, contract land planner to determine exactly how many parking spaces are now required by the current uses.
Yes,
I think that's just a baseline
yeah.
issue that we need to resolve if we're gonna have any action going forward that is based on quote unquote over parking. So it sounds like you guys agree we
Yes.
will make that request.
Yeah.
The second portion of that is, that's the baseline. So I will, it seems to me that we need to, and I will if you agree, impress upon the planning board that any change of use would require a site plan review for any of the businesses in town square, just like it required site plan review for any place else in town.
Yes, it could potentially be a minor site plan review.
It could
but
be a
might
minor
have
site plan
to
review.
Yes.
That way we can keep a handle on the required parking as it
Yes.
goes forward. And then the third thing, it actually is more probabilistic, and that is if indeed, there may indeed be no parking issue, but if there is indeed parking concerns, over parking, whatever phrase you want to use, I think the town staff, DPS to be specific, maybe a little bit involving DPW, is to have contingency plans in place that day ever arrives. So I think that will be on us as code enforcement and to deal with that and to work with DPS on that particular part of response to the planning board's decision on the parking plan that was approved. So if you agree with all of those, I think the third one, we can talk to DPS about it, but the first 2 I can bring to the planning board.
Sounds like a good plan.
All right. Okay, I think that's all we need to say. Let's go back to the capital account balance. I don't want to say it anymore. We just talk about it.
So what the board has in front of them are a
Right.
list of all prior year capital items that were approved at town meeting
Right.
and what their existing balance is relative to what was approved.
Right.
So our auditor has strongly suggested to us that this kind
Thanks for coming, guys. Thank you.
This kind of goes back to the matter that was just presented on. Our auditor strongly suggested that we do not carry forward any balances from any prior approved warrant articles more than a year.
Right.
So
Remember that.
any warrant articles that are approved in 2025 that we want to carry forward into 2026, a balance that, just it still exists is fine, but no more than that. And he strongly recommends that we allow those balances to lapse into our surplus.
But the Curious George was intentionally written to be multi-year.
Yes.
Yep, as a non-lapsing.
Right.
That's the way to do it appropriately, according to our auditor. If we want funds not to lapse, we call it a non-lapsing.
So it's on this list. Is that a different one or that's the
Other glasses.
non-lapsing?
It should be on that list and the recommendation should be to encumber. Or it's just
Now carried over. in other
carried
words.
over. Yep.
Oh, I see. It goes.
Oh, carry
it
forward, I
goes-
think is that what you mean, carry forward?
Carry forward.
That's-
Carry forward, non-lapsing?
Yep,
I should have printed this. All right. It's really hard to read.
Yeah, you gotta,
I can print out.
there is Curious George preschool, 24, 30, 20 spent, 10 balance, carry forward, non-lapsing. But this is the last year, right? Because that was a 3-year.
Correct.
So, all right,
Yep.
so. The decision you want from us today, based on the accounting firm's recommendation, is that we lapse some of these.
Yep, there's some there that,
All right, so I think we do, don't we have to vote on each one separately?
Can we get these printed out then? Because I think it's hard to.
yeah, you want
If
to
we-
print out
if
the
we're
Yeah.
gonna be
copies?
voting on.
Yeah,
this,
the computer flips the screen every time you try and
You have it with you?
Yeah.
turn it around.
4 copies?
Right. See, that's why when you open it up, you go to the top and you flip it.
Oh,
And then
yeah, I
save
didn't
it.
go to download.
Yeah, well,
Just a recommendation to my fellow
I'm still in. my
board
mail.
members.
Still.
But still,
Oh,
yes,
wait,
it is, it's then the big print becomes very small.
Never mind, I can do
To
that
get it
right
all.
here.
Well,
Yes.
Yes.
exactly.
You
Yeah,
can- you
Gotcha, I
can't-
can do it.
Small, and then you can't make notes.
can't quite read it, right.
Anything, yeah,
So you can blow it up, but you don't see the whole thing and you can't make
Yeah,
notes unless you want to make
exactly.
notes
Exactly.
in Word, which I
So-
don't like to do either. All
So we have all these balances. And what do you want to do with these balances?
My recommendation is in, I think, the far right column. Whether we carry forward or we
Right.
allow those funds to lapse
And
into surplus.
And I don't recall if we have to vote separately in all of them.
I can't recall what we've done.
We
in the
need to
past.
see what we have to do, how we legally handle it.
If, I know, if you wanted to make a blanket vote today, if you're all in agreement with my recommendations, we can do that and I can find out. if we
And
have to
double,
go
that's fine.
Yeah.
Double check. If that's not legal, we'll go back and do it the
One by
right way.
one, yeah.
Does that work for you, Wendy?
Just
It
a sec.
does.
Or we can
Almost-
take some out that we don't want to. I mean,
Right.
And
whatever-
what does
whatever.
encumber mean? In this?
So
what's it say here?
basically reappropriate the funds for that purpose.
Yeah, carry it
Space
forward.
needs, okay,
Otherwise, it goes in the fund balance
okay,
and the account purpose goes away.
okay. So. The ones you want to lapse are pretty much small amounts that are residuals, correct?
For the most part,
Well, except for the first one.
With the
Yeah.
exception of the first one.
because it's from 2022.
That's the one we were just talking
Yeah.
about. though.
Correct.
Right, so that one,
We agreed.
well,
to
well,
carry forward.
actually, no, you want that to
And
lapse
then we re-vote on it?
because we're gonna put in front of the town the warrant article for 55,000, there's only 40, we'd have to get, if we kept it in there, I guess, I don't know,
Why
could we
don't
go with,
just carry it forward?
we can carry it forward, but, oh, can we? It's been over a year.
Yeah,
It's
that's
been, that's
the
what they
auditor's
don't want us
advice
to
is
do that.
not to carry forward articles that were approved prior than 1 year or longer than 1 year ago. And it makes sense, right, from tracking standpoints, and it gives the voters another opportunity to vote on appropriating funds that are just sitting kind of stale. That's how this looks,
Yeah.
right? We had an approval at the
Yeah.
2022 town meeting
Yeah.
to spend some money here. We haven't spent it. This is being very transparent, I think, to the voters when we either raise an article to reappropriate it or have it lapse back into our surplus.
I mean, it should be every year unless we say otherwise
Correct.
in the
Yeah,
warrant
that
article.
makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And for some of the larger projects, we should probably at least state that they're non-lapsing for a couple of years.
Well, and we do that in the warrant article.
Um, So I think it's taken a while to get the fire engine, right? So we have to carry that forward. But was, I don't I wasn't around, well, I was around, but I wasn't around when that warrant article was written. Is
Well,
that
that's,
non-lapsing?
well, no, that was from bond.
So it's automatically,
Okay,
non-lapsing.
the ones from bond are automatically non-lapsing.
Yep.
Okay, gotcha.
It says here,
Learning
it says
more
here,
and more with a
debt, says debt funded.
Bond funded, debt funded.
Debt
yeah.
funded is what it, how it says it here.
Okay, does it?
And some of these we're changing in the budget too, right? I mean. Well, some of these we're just done with, like, for example, body cameras. We purchased it all,
Yeah.
we had set aside X amount of dollars, we did it and there's 200 left, so that's an automatic.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm okay with the recommendations. We have to discuss, I guess, the first one, but. What do you guys want to do with the Snowsburg?
No, I think in that one, like Rich was saying, since it was from 22, it should lapse and then we revote. But in the discussion, when we talk about the warrant article, however, we,
Yeah,
if we go.
got a new money
25,
article to discuss.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we'll say, we had the 40, whatever was remaining, 41,000-ish.
That we put,
That
I
was,
think,
there's a balance and we just let it lapse and then just
Right.
let everyone, just to be fully transparent
Right.
with it.
right, so that we're coming back, right, we're re-asking
So it
to
doesn't
use that.
sound like we're getting the same money for the same thing twice.
No, it said that the 41,000 that remained, we
Yep.
put back in the
Yep.
fund balance, because
Yep.
it's been there for so long. We're coming forward, we want to use that 41,000, and then we think we need to add another 14,000 to it to
Right.
complete the project. I
Yep.
mean, that should be part of the discussion at
Yeah.
town meeting.
Yep.
Makes sense.
That works.
Yeah, I'm fine with all of these. I mean,
What about
it's
the Corcoran Pond dredge
Dredge engineer.
for 23?
Engineering.
that's
That's from 23.
right.
Okay.
So we want to lapse that one because all the engineering was done for that, on that contract was,
The rationale to lapse that is
Okay.
the fact that it was appropriated 2 years ago, or, 2 years ago.
right.
Little more than 2 years.
Okay, how do we deal with the going forward with engineering for the pond?
Well, I think you're looking to move forward a
Mhm.
capital reserve request in the
Right.
amount of $50,000.
Right, that was the part I was talking, it's on our budget request for
Corcoran Pond maintenance.
Corcoran Pond maintenance.
Yeah, so I think,
Okay,
I mean, that might be an avenue.
yeah, well, that was the intent, I
Yeah.
think, was to put the engineering money
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Again, this is more an exercise in cleaning up these long-standing,
Yes.
Yeah,
even though it's
yeah,
a bit awkward because we're still getting the money, or we're gonna try to recoup maybe a little bit more than just what's in the account. But that does bring it to the town's attention, I think.
Well, and we just have to be very, very clear and
Yeah,
communicate.
what we're
that
doing, right.
We know we talked about this 2 years ago, and yes, you allocated funds, and
We
for
spent,
whatever
right.
reason, there were,
we
there
didn't
was a
spend,
balance, and
Right.
so we need to revisit
right,
it.
so the balance, the proper thing to do is to put it back in the
Yeah.
fund balance, but then to request again.
So then what's it? Oh, it's a
All
total
right,
at
we're
the
gonna
bottom.
have to remember that phrase. Yeah, go ahead, I'm sorry, Wendy.
Oh, just looking at the totals. What does this all add up to?
I don't have a total line there. Would you like me to give you a total of what's lapsing versus
Yeah,
what's being carried forward?
I think that would be helpful, right?
Yeah, I can do that. I mean, back in the napkin, looks like 73.
Oh, yeah, I can do that too. I just
Yeah.
thought there'd be a.
You'd wanna,
Right.
I mean, is this something that we're behind? Go ahead, I'm sorry.
It'd be good to get it done this month.
Can we do it at our 18 February?
Yeah, you just want to see the totals?
We can see the totals and then we can find out whether we have to vote, and by then we can
Yeah.
find out whether we have to vote in each
Individual.
one.
Yeah.
Or whether we can just look at it and vote to approve it as presented to us on this sheet.
Yes,
That work, Wendy?
works well.
Dan?
yeah,
All right,
that works.
very good. Okay, next agenda item is review of applications for town municipal positions. So here, hello, Kristen. Here, a couple things. We just want to make sure that, to see if there are any elected positions that are, that their incumbent is not running and no one has submitted their dollar to fill that position, because I think in those situations, the board likes to go out and see if we can't recruit people for those for a write-in, because that's all we can do for the elected position. So do we have any of those open?
So elected. I didn't hear from, well, this is the school clerk and treasurer. She didn't come in. She's usually on the ballot. That's Lori.
But wasn't that meant to be a 2-year term?
No, it's a 2-year, that what we voted in last year would be that it would start a 2-year term this year.
Oh, so
Okay,
the
that's
thing
what-
was
We're finishing
unclear.
1 year,
Right,
and this year they would start a 2-year term. So
Oh,
they
that-
still have to be elected for those.
I
2
see,
years.
because
That
at the
is
school board
unclear.
meeting, they thought that it began
No,
last year.
I brought it, I brought up the ballot with the count and what it said on the article.
So is that the
So,
only one
And I
that's,
let Patty know too.
so Patty knows about this?
Yep.
But it's too late now, so she has to put in as a write-in.
No, Patty did sign up.
Oh, no, I'm not talking
No,
about Patty, I'm talking about Lori.
Yeah, Lori, yep.
So Patty did do it, okay, so
Patty.
that answers that question from the joint
Yeah.
meeting, okay.
Wendy did it, Terry did it, Reggie did it, moderator did it. Trustees aren't elected.
They're not,
I don't have one of the trustees did not come in.
Wait, are the
which,
tru-
I
Trustees
thought,
of the trust fund,
Right.
no, they are,
Aren't they elected?
I think they are elected.
they are
here.
elected, Deborah didn't come in. Supervisor's checklist, that's elected, and Robin isn't gonna re-elect,
And no one,
no one came in.
so those are 2 open positions?
Yep,
Well, 3 counting Lori's position.
right. Library trustee did, planning board. and-
Well, those, the planning board and the conservation commission, those are all appointed. We've never put a time limit on those.
Right, but usually Mark last year from my first year with him was that he let me know ahead of time who was gonna be being appointed in an election night. We'd swear some of them in, or they do it
Right.
right after the next
Yeah.
meeting after
Right.
the election.
Yeah.
So this was trying to just to get the people, and I contacted all the committees to let them know who was up. And some of them changed positions, so I only have oaths for certain ones that have positions, but not, like, they could have been an alternate and they have a position till 2026. But then within their committee, they were elected to chair to 2028, but I have no oath for that, so I needed them to come in and get sworn in for those things. So they needed to declare that they were gonna be a chair, or not just an alternate. The member changed to secretary. We had some people that stepped out in the summer. Off certain boards, so there's like some holes, and I just wanna make sure we have paperwork to follow all those, and the oaths are sworn in for all those. And I let them all know that, so those aren't elected, but the only ones I told you that were missing were the 3 that you just.
Supervisor checklist, trustee of the trust fund, and school secretary treasurer. But I mean, I don't know for a fact, but poor Lori has been dragooned into that position year after year. And now it's a 2-year position, so I don't know if she's wants to put her
Well, the school can do a little,
name, but she's aware of it.
she was aware of it, I just came back 3 days ago, so I haven't emailed her to find out why she didn't come in. Last year she came in at the last day.
Right,
So I wasn't here to prod her, I did let her know ahead of time, I let everybody know ahead of time before I left, so.
okay. Yeah, I mean, that is something I think the school board needs to follow up on.
Any
But
other?
if you can just clarify, perhaps send an email to the
Yeah.
chair of the school board, just
Yes.
so he can communicate that.
Yeah.
That there was no one applied to be this for the position for school secretary or treasurer. At this point, we require a write-in,
Okay. I will do that.
and
then we have,
For
what?
sure, an elected position, because we've never.
I said, I think,
it's
I
not,
mean, it's not, it's
Okay, good.
appointed, but you sign the paper anyway, so
Okay.
that's good.
okay.
I signed it because I figured.
I know,
this
I
way we're
know.
So we have
okay,
trustee
yeah,
of the
but I
trust
didn't think
fund,
it was-
what's-
And supervisor of the
Okay,
checklist,
good.
We've
supervisor.
never done
it's the voting.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
town has.
So,
changed that.
so the supervisor, the checklist, I think Margaret, did I copy you guys in my response to Margaret. She's recommended, state law now allows it to be 3 years,
Oh, right, right.
vice 6 years, and she
Yeah, I
thought
see.
we may have a better chance of getting a person for that.
Mhm.
But that requires, I think it may require a vote of town meeting, so we're gonna have to look at that. I've already alerted Steve to this.
Right.
But the incumbent, I think, is it Joan Mullen, who's the incumbent?
Jean.
Oh, Jean,
Mullen.
sorry, Jean Mullen. Who's the incumbent, but she's not put her name in.
Yeah.
She had a health
Yes,
issue.
I understand that, so, all right, so I think we're gonna need to figure out if,
Reach out and make
Yeah.
sure if that was a,
if it was just,
Oversight, yeah.
a bad timing for her,
Yeah.
yeah. And whether she still intends, and that's, she will be a write-in for that, purpose of that. And who is the chair of the trustee of the trust fund?
I think it's,
Is it Deborah herself?
yeah,
So we need to let them know that they're down a person
well, no, it
and,
was Robin who didn't, right?
well, it was Robin, that's right, Robin who didn't, how did Deborah come up then?
She was a chair.
Oh, she's the chair, right,
I'm pretty sure she's the chair.
Yeah.
It's Cliff, Carol, and Deborah. That are the trustees.
oh, I thought you said, one person didn't,
Yeah, I'm
Robin,
just saying, these are the,
besides
the
Robin.
sitting trustees.
we have four, was there four in that?
What?
Cliff,
Cliff,
Carol, and Deborah.
right,
You said that Robin didn't,
No, Robin, we're talking about, Robin is a supervisor of the checklist. Are you talking about trustee?
oh, okay,
Oh.
sorry,
so Jean Mullen
So-
came up for no reason.
What?
no, so it's
Okay.
not an issue of Gene, it's an issue with Robin, we need to replace
Yeah.
Right,
Robin,
Robin is not going to
run again,
run again. She
Okay.
told me that. And
Sorry.
Jean was just probably incapacitated and didn't come in during that time.
oh, but she as well did
I
not,
don't know, because I haven't talked to her since I got back. It's only been 2 days.
right, but I mean, she has not,
She has not signed up.
so there are two, actually, so,
Yes.
okay. And there's nobody on the trustee of the trust fund, I'm sorry, I misunderstood you then,
Nobody from trustee.
okay,
Oh,
got it, sorry,
yeah, that was
misunderstood.
confusing.
Deborah did not come in to read, even though I think she does want to. I don't know if she was in town or.
Okay, I'm still confused. So are there 2 or 3 incumbents who did not come in? Overall,
When you say incumbents, you mean people that are. in
Elected.
Office right now,
Who did not,
who did not come in.
Did-
So 2 supervisors,
right?
the trustee, the school board treasurer and clerk.
So the 2 supervisors, Robin and Jean.
Yep.
The trustee, Deborah.
Yep.
And the school board secretary, Larry.
right, okay,
Okay,
I'm on board now, right, all right,
who's on first?
right.
Okay,
So we need to check with Jean and see if they have anybody, what her intentions are, and then to see have anybody to replace
I
Robin.
popped in today, but I was in the middle of something. I wasn't.
That's
in the
right,
office,
right.
and she was supposed to let me know.
And we should contact the chair of the trustee of the trust fund, let them know they're down.
Yep.
One as well, and do they have a candidate,
Yeah.
someone they wanna put forward as a write-in? Right, and as regard the planning board, conservation commission, I think we're just, I haven't, I've seen one, letter saying that, she was not gonna run for a reelection, for a reappointment, Nancy Knight.
Mhm.
So, I guess we'll have to think, maybe work with the planning board, see if there's somebody of interest who's interested in doing that as an alternate, but there are 2 others that we need to move on. That's John Racine and who's the third one? The other one's, oh, Kathy Brennan. All 3 need to be reappointed.
Planning board?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
reappointed, or, well, Nancy said she doesn't want to be reappointed, so that's one position. And I believe Kathy intends, if she has not, I think she's put her letter
Those
in.
are the only 3 for 2026.
Right. I think Kathy is or has put in a request. It hasn't come, I don't know if you've seen it, but I know she talked to me about it, said she had done it. Yeah. But we have not heard from John.
No.
Okay, we'll have to follow up on that.
Yeah.
And that's it, right? There was nothing on the was there anybody on the Conservation Commission? Any other boards?
Well, conservation had a lot. They were supposed to do it while I was away. I made them all, I printed them all. And then Steve was gonna swear a bunch of them in.
But are
They,
there,
they all just needed updated oaths. They.
Okay, so that,
Okay,
there's,
no vacancies.
so no
Yeah,
vacancies,
They were the
that's
very
unusual.
board there was.
isn't it? No, it's good, but you usually have, it's sequential so that you have,
Because some people
Vacancies.
stepped down and
Yeah.
then they stepped into it, so they automatically got their 3-year or 2-year term when they stepped into those holes.
oh, really? They didn't
You're not
acquire the
finishing
previous?
an existing term?
Yeah,
They took on somebody's alternate position or member
right,
position.
but don't they just
instead of-
complete that?
yeah, they don't get a fresh term at that point.
Right, that's why, that's what I'm saying, they didn't have subsequent. They didn't have subsequent oaths for those, like,
No, I get the oath bit, I'm just,
We're looking, our vacancies are our main concern.
Yeah.
So,
no, they don't have any vacancies in conservation.
and no one's being re-upped this
Nope.
year.
that's, well, look at that, that's kind of strange.
It is strange.
All right. Cause we usually, all these boards is sequential,
Was supposed to be up in 2026.
right,
And he was an alternate, but
Right.
now he's the chair.
right,
So he still
So-
should be up in 2026.
but his position should be up in 2026.
Yes.
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 Right, his
So-
position should be up in
Yes,
2020.
and
He replaced,
I don't know who the one was.
it was Irrit.
John Racine.
Oh, he replaced, as the,
John Racine was the chair. He stepped.
no, he wasn't chair of the Conservation
He
Commission. He
was
can't
planning
be.
board.
He was chair of the planning board. He can't be. He was this planning board rep on the Conservation Commission.
Yeah,
I think it was Irrit.
yeah, I think.
I
so.
think
Yeah,
Irrit
it
was,
was Irrit.
Irrit. So when did, see, that's just it. So if he, yeah, they didn't do it right.
I
Yeah,
know.
They
There
did
was
not do it
something-
right.
last
Right,
year,
yeah.
right, that It's printed,
Right.
they all be,
We
certain
gotta,
things were done at
right.
meetings, but I wasn't privy to
Right.
that meeting and I didn't know what was made, so I
Right.
just wanna all.
Changing, it's completely in their purview, and they really should just do it once a year. It's completely within their purview to decide who their officers are. That's not our business.
yeah.
Right,
But they can't change the terms of the
Yeah.
service.
right.
So Paul is still up in 26, no
Yeah.
matter what his position is,
Right.
right? And who else is?
That's the only one I have.
Okay, so that would make more sense to me.
How
That somebody's
many-
up.
Yeah.
How many are on the Conservation Commission?
But, so one of, two of them, two of the members of conservation stepped out and were not replaced. So Jenny Lucas,
Right.
she was supposed to be.
So
up
that's a
this year.
vacancy.
So that-
That's
She was supposed to
open,
be up this year.
right? So that's open.
And Patrick Marr,
Okay,
he stepped out, but Steve Levick took his place.
So he,
Cliff Lovett.
Cliff, yes, we voted
Stephanie,
Cliff
I'm
in.
sorry, Steph.
We voted Cliff onto that, I remember, in the Conservation
Yeah.
Commission.
Cliff is on there.
So, and he's good until whatever the term, whatever,
2028.
28.
Yep.
So we have Paul, who needs to be reappointed, and we have a vacancy.
Yep.
That's basically it.
Yes,
Okay,
Everyone else is good until 27, 28, or, yeah, how many do we have in that board?
that's what I just asked.
It's in the town meeting, sorry, I didn't bring the book with me.
Yeah. Okay.
9.
Is it that many?
So then it should be 3 per year.
Yeah, that's how we usually do it.
So who?
Something screwed up.
Well, I'm sorry, it's 8, but
Oh,
John is an
okay.
ex officio.
Okay.
So he's not
Ex
really
officio.
a
Okay,
board member.
gotcha.
So there's 7. Oh, 8
8,
plus John.
Yep.
8, but even then it'd be 3-3-2 is how we usually
So we
do
might be in
it.
the 2-year?
Hmm?
So we're in the 2-year.
Maybe we're
where
in
all
the,
of
maybe we're in
vacancy.
the, yeah, because Jenny would have been in 26 and Paul would have been in 26, so that makes sense.
Okay,
If we got it right.
so we need to get people who are interested in Concom,
We need 2.
planning board. No,
Well, we don't know what the incumbent intentions are on the plan, other than Nancy, we need 1 for sure.
Right.
But we don't know what, and Kathy, I said she was gonna go, but
Yeah.
yeah, so we haven't heard from John, so we need to know what John's issue is, but we definitely need 1 alternate
right,
on the planning board.
Right.
And we need Paul, Paul needs to be reappointed, we could do that.
Yep.
And that leaves just 1
yes.
vacant, so we need 1 vacant, so we got 1
Yep.
vacancy in each,
Yes,
Conservation Commission and Planning Board.
yes.
Okay. Just trying to keep our people straight.
I went through that whole thing, trying to find
Right.
everybody.
Well, they're confused, especially it seems on the Conservation Commission, the difference between positions on the board and, the officership positions on the board and their appointment. Those are 2 different things. And they mix them up. In the past. At least some of them have. All right, enough of that. All right, so let me get that, and so one Concom, one PB alternate.
6-year term. If somebody didn't want to serve 6 years and they got elected.
Right.
6 years, you can still step out at any time.
Oh, yeah.
There's always 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but I think if we can go to Margaret's position was that if we have by town vote and drop it down to 3, we may get more candidates.
Yes. More
Willing,
appealing.
be more appealing to folks.
6 years is a long time.
Yeah, so we need to look at that as a, and as I said, I've already alerted Steve to that. Warren asked him to run that by NHMA.
Go police.
How do we do that?
the academy for the others.
Yeah, whatever it takes. Okay, are we done? We're done. All right. Dylan, what would you like to tell us that you're not gonna tell us tomorrow about the wastewater treatment project?
What's tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow we're meeting just to go over the presentations, aren't we? Isn't it tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't have that written down, or either that or I do, I just spaced on it.
Well, we're
That's
gonna,
at 8 o'clock in the morning.
yeah, we're gonna go over the bond and budget, and then I asked Steve to let us know what the status was on the presentation on the 11th, right? Did you have another time we were supposed to? No?
I'll be there, I just wasn't.
Okay, all right. No, I'm not trying to surprise, I just thought, we like one more look at what we're gonna be talking about on the
That's
11th.
what I was gonna mention to you.
Okay,
actually.
go for it.
So, I was just gonna say that we got all 3 presentations from the 3 parties that we needed presentations from.
Great.
Those have already been turned over to Louis Cardinal though, to start incorporating those, so.
Right.
We'll review those 3 tomorrow with the board.
Great, that's what we wanted.
Yep, and in the background, Jime's already working on those, so if anything changes, we'll just make edits and let Jime know. My
Okay.
intent was to have a review with the board of Jime's presentation. I must have missed a segment there, of.
Yeah, no
Because
problem.
I'm gonna imagine you guys are gonna wanna review the final one as well, once everything is.
Yeah, but
completed.
we're running out of time.
No, I get it, I'm just saying that.
When
we're
we-
probably gonna want to do the final one as well.
We were kind of thinking that the final one, more or less, was tomorrow.
Okay, well.
I know Jime's not ready, but when can we fit him in?
Yeah, I don't think John was meant to be doing the whole presentation, right? We have the 3
No.
presenters.
The way that the board agreed,
Right.
when we met with the 3 parties.
Right.
The board agreed that they wanted Jime to take all 3 presentations.
Right.
And make it one uniform format.
Right,
That's what the board agreed to.
right,
So we took all 3 presentations, sent that to Jime, that's what he's doing.
right. And then that would be the handout too, as I recall,
He's
right?
working on a handout as well,
Right, okay,
2 different items,
okay, right.
but. I guess what I was getting at was I just wanted to make sure the aesthetic of what was going to be presented, the board was satisfied with, from Jime's perspective.
Okay, when do you think we could do that?
I don't have an answer for you on that one. I'm hoping by the end of the week, this week, he'll have something
Okay,
produced.
that leaves
Black and
us,
Beaches, though, we didn't receive it
Right.
until Monday. Black and Beaches is the longest,
Yeah.
presentation,
right.
so.
We are meeting on Monday at 8 to 10
Yeah.
with HEB. We may be able to tack on some time. I know you're gonna be out of town, Dan. but-
Yeah, I'm out of,
If-
I mean, I've got a bound on that too. Let me just double check while we talk.
Worst case scenario, we'll just send the final presentation to the board, and if you guys have a concern, we'll just take those concerns. and
Yeah.
send them to Jive. We don't have to have a specific meeting.
No, but it's easy. I think it may be easier if we talked among ourselves rather than you getting 3 different. I mean, Dan should do it anyway. I'd imagine he'd want to do
Yeah.
it because he's not gonna be at the meeting.
I'm just saying if there's conflict amongst the 3 board members being able to get together instead of not being able to.
Yeah. No, I'm good beyond 10 o'clock. So, yeah, no, I think you're out up until the 10th anyway, right?
yeah,
So there's no way we can integrate Dan into this in a personal meeting unless you want to do it virtually.
that would depend on time and
Right.
what's
Wi-Fi.
happening. What?
And Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi.
Well, I probably have Wi-Fi. I'm going to Tremblant for skiing.
Oh,
So
I
this is-
definitely wouldn't be attending any meetings if I was on.
Well,
I don't
we
know.
don't ski all day necessarily,
So let me.
but I can't
Right.
predict what she can do or not do.
So we're gonna meet at 8 o'clock. And then we'll just tack on at the end.
Yep.
It's, hopefully you'll have something from Jime. That was just giving an opportunity for us to run an eye over it or hear about it. And that would be it. I mean, then I think at that point, everything is,
Yeah, I mean, it's only a few days.
yeah, no, then we're 2 days out.
I get it, it's tight, and I just wanted to make sure that's why, I don't know how I forgot about the one tomorrow, but regardless of that. So communications then, unless you guys have any questions about that, that's all I
Okay.
have for you there. Engineering update is the value engineering study kicks off on Tuesday next week. That's Tuesday through Friday, those are 7:30 to 5:30,
Okay.
those 4 days.
Okay.
So, I'll be tied up with that with.
Where are they gonna do it?
They're gonna be holding it at this, in the conference room with the Silver Fox, apparently.
Okay,
They're staying in Plymouth,
so they made all those
arrangement,
arrangements.
yeah.
Okay.
So,
Why they fixed it.
there's that, from the last meeting I mentioned to, or asked the board if they would want DES's presence at the meeting.
Yes.
So I relayed that to them. They're gonna have 3 members of DES.
More the merrier.
Tracy Wood, who is the engineering.
Good. Yeah.
Bureau administrator, so she's a relatively high up. John Muris, who is our actual design review supervisor for this project. He's been on this project since the beginning. And Dick Emberly, who you may recall that name, he's the operations bureau. Individual who's responsible for our facility as well.
They are gonna be all virtual?
Nope, they'll all be in person.
Oh, all right, we're gonna have a big table then.
Steve and I talked a bit about that.
Yeah.
Earlier, and we were trying to think about how we could do that. It may just be making sure they're all placed somewhere in like the front row
Yeah.
instead of having them be, because.
We could put them all at the head table, then we don't have to sit there.
Yeah. Well, so.
Just a thought.
There's one other thing I wanna mention to you under legal.
Yeah.
Is that we had a conversation somewhat unrelated to this topic, but with our council earlier today, Steve and I did. And this has to be a select board meeting. Has to be a select board meeting because it's gonna have a quorum and it's not
Right.
it's not a bond or a
No, that
budget
makes
hearing.
So we'll make it, so we'll make it a public hearing.
I'm just saying that from the sake.
Yeah, all right, I'll open it up as a special select board meeting, /public hearing.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
So,
simple enough.
Other than
As long as
that,
we meet the noticing requirements, which
yeah,
we've
today,
done,
so we. yeah.
right, which we've done,
Yeah.
right.
So.
Should have thought of that when 3 of us were gonna be there.
Yeah.
And then, other than that, I don't have anything on legal, funding, I don't have anything on funding either.
No, that's fine, well. Just getting ready for the 11th, that's the main thing, I think.
Like,
I don't
squeezing
think-
everything in to,
Right. I don't think much is gonna change, hopefully, before, on any of these topics before then.
Right.
Okay,
So if you get the presentation from Chime, you can send that to me
As soon as I get it. board.
and I can certainly provide comments back
Yeah.
you
as
could,
fast as I can, even if I'm in Canada.
yeah, no, I think you could just,
I'm taking my computer and everything with me.
I think you just send them back, via the same, reply to that email with
Yeah.
any of your comments and
Yeah.
we'll be all
Or
beyond the one
concerns or
email, right?
whatever.
We're not gonna discuss it, you're just bringing up your concerns, so that's fine.
Yep.
That shouldn't be a problem from a 91A
Yeah.
standpoint. All right, done?
Done.
All right.
Any questions?
Nope, good, good,
Yep, good.
all right, let's go to the placard update, transfer station. That means you, Megan,
Yep, so you should have, I provided the board with a.
right,
basic
SOP,
SOP.
yep,
For how things will be done via the placards.
right.
Didn't know if you had any questions.
Well, it's kind of the way you're doing it now, isn't it? I mean, it's a variation of the current practice
It is,
with the
yes.
decals, okay, I'm sorry, Dan, go ahead.
Yeah, just the simple comment. I did read through it in fairly good detail. The one thing I noticed was you said lost placards would be replaced. So you would have no more than 2. Are
Yeah.
we charging for lost ones? There's no reference to charging for the replacement of a lost one.
Yeah, I thought it was what,
I
$10?
thought we were gonna
We
put
agreed.
$10 for that.
I had made that SOP before I had,
Before we had
we had
discussed the
done
dollars.
changes.
Yep.
Right,
So anyway, that was my thought.
so add $10 for replacement.
Yeah, I mean, it's a reasonable
Yeah, don't lose your placard, yeah.
fee, yeah. It says if you're, dumb,
Right.
you're gonna pay for it.
So you'll
Okay.
continue on the path of everyone to get their placard has to go to the DPW building, not the town admin building.
Yeah, I think we need, we just need to finish that discussion. We still have time. We're looking at it this summer. I mean, we have a lot of things going on now, but, I've become convinced that we don't necessarily need to run it up out of here. That we can do it out of DPW as long as you got the appropriate list to work off of, which I guess is the assessing list, not the
Right.
Yeah, and I can work
property
with
tax list.
Kristen about, who is delinquent. To make sure because you had mentioned if
Yes.
they had not paid, if they were delinquent. that they
Yeah,
would
how
not
do we
receive-
deal with that
Right.
and so forth. And the other issue I think we had is for the very first time, they gotta come in. We wanna see them with an ID.
Yes,
Well, and proof of
Right,
property ownership, so.
right.
right, and if they have their old sticker, just checking, making sure they are an actual.
Yeah, I
resident.
rerun the name against the
but,
list or with an ID is good enough, I think, right?
Right.
Oh, so a sticker and an ID.
Well,
If
I
they
mean,
have their old one,
Yeah.
it assumes that they're a resident.
Yeah.
But we will do our due
Property owner.
diligence to check that.
I think you just check the name. I think, don't you only need the ID of the person? Then you can run it against the list and see if they're a authorized user. Do you need it? You
Well,
need
yeah,
more?
I'm just
Do you
looking at,
know?
I'm looking at the SOP and this is.
Do you
Well, the SOP
know
says
it's
otherwise.
Easier
Yeah.
to vote in most states than it is to get rid of your.
It
trash
is,
here in Walkerville Valley.
So, yeah, resident presents documentation during issuance hours, right? Staff verifies eligibility. Okay, and what were you referring? I'm sorry. Oh,
Residency
verification.
verification requirements.
Just a quick question. You're not collecting those documents.
No.
So somebody's just gonna come up and show you.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
just gonna
You
look
gotta-
at it and
the
then they
residency,
can have it right
yeah.
back. I'm
Yeah.
not keeping it,
Or
I'm not
the
gonna
property owner.
make
Okay,
a copy.
Yeah.
Okay,
Got it.
that's an important consideration because
Yes,
there
I-
are huge privacy
I am not
issues
gonna-
associated
I'm
with
not
that.
taking anybody's other than the
Okay.
name.
And then
and
you
their
check it
address
off on a
or-
list.
Right,
so-
their residency that shows
not
that they're
right. Okay.
authorized to use it. And we list here
Okay.
residency, a
There-
residency application or current utility bill or current property tax bill.
But I think we need to be careful again, not residency, but property ownership. It doesn't matter if someone's a resident here or not, if they own property, they can dispose of their trash. So it's not
Right.
residency.
Right. Well, the resident captures the people who are renters, I guess. Right? Or a utility bill can do that.
They could be a second homeowner. That's what I'm saying. So their residency would be in could be in Massachusetts, but they're a
Well,
property
the
owner.
residency letter was for the renters, because I was thinking about my brother, I mean, he has a dumpster, his thing, but like, he received a residency letter, so he's a resident of Waterville Valley, he doesn't technically own a property, but he lives within the valley and lives here year round.
No, but
They
I'm
have-
saying every homeowner has a right to bring their trash here,
Right.
but they don't have to be a resident. They're just a property owner,
Taxpayer.
a taxpayer, property owner, whatever.
I think property owner is probably the safer,
Yes,
but our tax. I guess.
yes. So I would use caution in using the word residency as opposed to property owner or
I haven't
taxpayer.
seen your COP. So I don't know what we're talking.
So
As
if-
far as the documentation.
So if they're not a resident but a property owner, then they have to show they're a property owner.
So have a current utility bill
Yeah,
for a town
so-
property or,
So that's,
Tax
so
bill.
they don't need all of these.
no,
They just
It's
need one.
one.
But if you're a renter, you just show that you're a resident.
Right,
And so you show your residency. Right, you can show residency by
Most
Voter.
likely you're.
a voter roll.
It-
And that's public information.
Most likely if you're a resident here, you're gonna have an ID that has your address.
Yeah.
On it, so. But
Well, yeah,
yeah.
some people have, yeah. Yeah, yes and no, it depends. But no, I mean, you can check residency a number of different ways. I think the easiest way is just the voter checklist.
Yeah, but we aren't checking residency.
So
We're checking
there
taxpayer.
would be a couple of lists that she would have.
Yes.
because Some would be property tax.
Right,
Some would be actual residents of
Right.
Waterville Valley that have their licenses and they've applied for residence.
Right, you can do it through licenses as well. Yeah. Either way,
And what is the protocol for people that have short-term rentals?
they're
They're not getting placard.
It's up to the property owner to get them.
that's, yeah,
Yeah, the property owner who
rents it
not-
out.
may not have a license to bring, they will. Anyway, I'm just saying we need to be
Right.
careful with.
Okay,
with our
well, we'll
comments.
talk about it some more, but I think we're on the right path. I think we still need to go through it, see the whole thing in front of us. Again, we have some time. Let's get through this next few weeks into the budget, into town meeting, and then let's
Mhm.
come
Busy
back
time
at it.
right now.
Hmm?
Yes.
Busy time right now.
Yeah, let's come back at it and, I don't know, maybe one of our April meetings.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that'll give a couple months, because we had advertised this summer, right? Anywhere?
We advertise
advertised,
first of the year.
yeah, the fourth quarter of 2025's water and sewer bill, they're supposed to be getting their application and that's what you had originally said.
Did we put that in the fourth quarter, Bill?
We did not put it in there because we were gonna have this discussion.
Right,
So I
and we
haven't
had
talked
an
to people
issue
For like 4 or 5 months.
where we were talking about putting the application online as well. That was another discussion. we
Yeah,
had.
I think we can relook at that as well. So there's nothing out there right now as to when.
Except that Kristen's been telling people
I've been
verbally,
telling people based on what you originally said.
verbally,
Yeah.
but there's nothing in
I've been
writing.
handing them their little stickers and saying they will be getting a placard application at the beginning of the year.
Okay, well,
Okay.
it slipped. And we can go out with the first quarter water sewer bill maybe, right?
We could.
We can do that.
We can do that. So maybe we talk about this in the second meeting in March. And that gives us the first meeting in April to close it up if we need to, and then you can get it out in the water sewer bills, because they usually go out a couple weeks after, right? A couple weeks after the end of the quarter. All right. All right, well, there's the timeline then. All right. Enough. Town meeting room dedication. Anyone thought of any names? Anyone that would like to name this rooms, dedicate this room
Well,
after?
We had discussed this earlier and we had
Mhm.
suggested that we
Do it in non-
discuss
non-public.
names in non-public
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then figure out how we were going to proceed. Because it's not clear that, somebody may or may not want their name put forth or
Right.
whatever.
Such an honor. All right, we'll do
so
it in
I'm
non-public.
not,
We'll do it in non-public.
yeah, I don't think it takes long.
No, all right. We can either do it today. Hmm?
I suggest Mark Dakota.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a good suggestion. I think actually we had asked the Historical Society to give us some names, and you have. All right. Well, we'll either deal with it at non-public today or next time. There's no great hurry. Department head updates. Hi, Chief.
I understand Pat was here earlier.
Talk about the ski
wanted to
touring permit.
Discuss, I do have their off-premise solicitation for the food truck. That's supposed to be there.
Yep.
I just need a sign off. On
Yep.
it.
Yeah, and we agreed to waive the fees.
Yep. And everything seems to be in order there. Ambulance is fixed, so.
I didn't know it was broken. Wait a minute. Oh, you told us
Yeah.
there was an issue with, I forget what it was.
Suspension.
Suspension, that was it.
Yep. So ambulance is all fixed, the dealer. Nicole's doing, good at the academy. Last week we held the coffee with cop at the Silver Creeks. We always do this time of year, which is good. It seems like it's very timely. Do that, coming up before, budget and town meeting and stuff, so there's a lot of questions. Of things, so it's good to have a little bit of FaceTime with a lot of our residents, that seem to be in that group, which is good. Just getting ready for vacation weeks coming up,
right.
and immediately after, Special Olympics will be here. Immediately after New Hampshire week, right at the beginning of March.
Mhm.
So we're in the planning phases. They're coming here next week. just as a
So they're coming here again
pre-planned
this year. Yeah.
luncheon. Yep, they're coming back.
Great.
There isn't any anticipated changes to their schedule. Opening ceremonies, I believe, is gonna be on Monday night instead of Sunday. So there is that change, and that change was made last year.
Yep.
To assist the hotels and switch over from vacation weeks to kind of get ready for them to come in. There will be some time trials during the day on Monday, and they're doing the resort experience on Monday also before that. Our participation with that is we do an open house, we have activities here for the athletes. We host the New Hampshire Electric Co-op is out here with bucket trucks. And along with a number of different things that happen throughout the valley. But we host, probably a couple hundred athletes that come through in about a 4-hour window for that. So I'll probably have some more information. They probably will request a representative for the town there. So if anyone feels like saying a welcome, if that's still on the agenda, if they haven't changed anything, I'll let you know. Other than that, on the side.
What
we've
date
got-
would that be?
It is March. Like
That first
third,
Monday,
second.
yeah.
I'll tell you
Yeah, I gotta
just
figure
one
out when
second.
our,
So second, third, and fourth.
okay.
So that will be. Usually New Hampshire week's not a bad week for, the Mass week is pretty busy. New Hampshire week's not that bad, but then everything kind of changes for the season when Special Olympics is over. It's kind of like coming out of our winter season, so.
See.
I've got the last finals scheduled for Golden Heights. I'm gonna have some conditions in there for them as far as their landscaping. Most of the plantings, the planning board has asked, but there's some cleanup across the street and that sort of thing that they need to that they'll need to do, but obviously gotta wait till
Just the villas?
the snow's gone.
You talk about the villas
Yeah.
and the dumpster, my perennial favorite topic.
It
Still
was
there,
cold the other
3 years,
day.
Yeah.
3 years later.
Should be gone within 2 weeks, so.
Hoorah.
Uh,
Okay,
so-
so you have some conditions,
Yeah.
finishing up?
Yeah,
Great, thank
there'll be
you.
some conditions, Megan,
Yep, I saw the email.
you probably had there was some driveway stuff, so whatever you need, just let me know.
Okay.
But other than that, have you got any questions?
The only comment we had was with respect to the ski joring thing. Last year, there were not enough restrooms for them,
There weren't any.
and it was suggested
Yeah.
we suggested today, or I suggested that they try and get at least a couple extra porta potties here.
Certainly going forward,
Yeah,
going.
Yeah, I can ask them, I mean,
Kind of late.
the golf course has got,
They now have a bathroom.
they have bathrooms and it can handle 3 at a time. So I think that'll alleviate a lot of the pressure. People just have to, I can assure that they can have probably some signage up to make sure. that-
Yeah, all I heard was there were a lot of there were long lines for the bathroom last year.
Okay.
So, and that was the
I can certainly
aftermath, so.
ask them to provide a couple more porta potties, and that would be certainly reasonable
Okay,
for the event.
So last year, I thought they had bathrooms in Craig's facility
Yeah, it was
there,
there.
did they not? But was it the same or not renovated
I
or?
don't know if they were up and running yet.
Yeah, they.
well, you mean the new
the-
one? No, I don't
the
think they
ice
were.
cream shop,
You're
it
talking about
wasn't
the
up
ice
and
cream
running
shop
yet.
or the clubhouse?
No, at
The
the ice cream
clubhouse,
shop.
yeah, the clubhouse may have been available.
Yeah, no, I don't
know,
think the
but
ice cream
the
shop.
No,
wasn't.
I don't,
Yeah.
that,
Oh,
that was,
I don't think they were, but with the bathrooms at the ice cream shop, should
Are-
alleviate a lot of that.
are now, yeah.
Okay,
Should hopefully alleviate a lot of that.
Well, I mean, if you were to get a porta potty, we can put one right next to it or something, so
Yeah.
it's all in one area,
Yeah.
make it very simple.
Mhm.
yeah,
Okay?
Okay.
Anything else? Everyone good?
Sure.
Moving along?
Yeah. Yeah. winter. We took advantage a couple days of warm weather. Knocked out some hydrants while we could. And,
Warm
before
weather?
the-
Wait a
before the
minute.
freeze. Between yesterday and today.
It was warm,
It
quote
was.
unquote.
It was warm. It softened, the sun softened up the snow enough that we could actually get through the.
Chip away and get at those
Yeah,
hydrants.
Yeah, actually get it.
Yeah, the ones up by my house are buried.
Yeah, not anymore, because I did them yesterday.
Oh, you did? Ah, I didn't look
Good.
yesterday.
I imagine the ambulance is getting good use. Is it
Yeah.
everything you hoped it would be, except for the
Yeah.
suspension?
Yeah, we're, keeping an eye on it. It's really not that much different than the previous one, so.
Comfortable ride?
Yeah, it actually is a more comfortable
Yeah, I
ride.
think you had
when-
mentioned
When the
that.
suspension system is working, it
Great.
is actually a lot nicer.
Right.
We can actually soften it on Triple I Road coming down the hill, especially when it's broken people. So be able to soften it for those folks. And then once we're on the highway, we can stiffen it up, so the crosswinds don't affect it as much. It actually.
Oh, it has a
just
big
stiffens
box,
it up.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big, you're pushing a giant toaster down the road, so
Yeah.
the winds do affect it quite a bit, especially when you're doing 75 miles an hour.
Right.
It is a lot nicer that way.
Good. Good to hear. Great. Thank you, chief. What's happening, Megan?
Not much, just snow. Got little bits of a,
I just signed in one spot. Was that all you needed me to?
That's all I need.
Okay, that bottom page is yours too, chief.
This is yours too.
snow this morning. But with the sun that we had, thankfully, and the residual that we had on the roads, it kept the roads pretty clear.
Have you put any magnesium chloride down?
Not since the rainstorm.
The rainstorm?
We have not
Okay.
put any down.
Mag chloride or sodium chloride?
Oh, what was it? I thought it was the.
The sodium chloride.
Okay, I
Yeah.
thought it was magnesium. All right, sorry.
I knew what you meant, so.
Okay, thank you.
The only issue we're having
There's also
currently
calcium.
is our sidewalk sander. Continues to have issues.
Underperform, is that what you're trying to
It
say?
is underperforming.
Yes,
currently.
it's noticeable. Perennial problem.
It keeps breaking hydraulic hoses.
Oh,
So, not the actual machine, but the sander implement that puts material down on the sidewalks to help clear them.
Yeah.
We're working through the issue, looking at other avenues as well. So
is that a design flaw?
It's
Is
a
it
design
design flaw?
factor. It just, where the motor's at. In relation to both the top metal piece and the ground. It just, the vibrations from it and the weight of the materials that go into it, it just bends and then it starts to hit and it cracks hydraulic lines. So. We're working through it, looking at other options currently. But it intermittently works. It works one storm, then doesn't work another. So. We're working diligently to try and keep the sidewalks clear.
Can I ask a question? What
Sure.
about just getting rid of the sidewalks and doing what we have on, through the Tecumseh?
You want us to walk into that briar patch? Right?
I mean, being on the
Yes.
road, it's just so much easier to walk on the road where you're clear.
Yes.
And it saves money on manpower and on that machine that never really does what it's
Right.
supposed to do.
We-
It's just-
We have looked at it, certainly on the Boulder Path reconstruction. We decided to keep the sidewalk for drainage reasons.
For drainage.
It was mostly to help with the drainage. And of course, there were people who were very concerned about the safety. And frankly, I've come to change a little bit on the safety. I didn't think it would be a big issue, but in the winter, when that snow's covering those double white lines, I see cars driving over in those lanes, and that's really a problem. I mean, I agree with you. One of the reasons.
Because they have no choice because the.
Right.
The sidewalks, you get that, and that was always an issue, especially like the old version of Tecumseh where you had to walk on the road because there were no sidewalks. But yeah, I'm a little concerned that those multi-use path lanes, with the snow, it's just, they're better plowed, but you gotta get there. And when the snow's coming down or the type of weather we had, it's difficult for a driver to know where that They don't see the center line, they don't see the double white line, so. And then they just follow in the path of the cars in front of them. Before you know it, it's all over to the, especially to make a right off at Tecumseh, right? You're making it wider and,
Well, especially and for us plowing wise,
right,
we've seen, which I don't blame them, people like to follow plow trucks because it's, clear behind them. We'll be plowing the multi-use path, people
Yeah.
following behind us,
oh, well, that's not good either.
so.
But then hopefully there's nobody in there while you're plowing.
One of our residents mentioned a safety issue on Noon Peak because they don't have sidewalks.
Mhm.
And he was walking down the road. And while there's, I think you have a yellow line in the middle. Some people won't move out around. the-
Pedestrian,
Yeah, pedestrian,
and that's not good.
because of the yellow line. Somebody almost clipped him one day. Just-
Yeah, they don't know
because they
their
were
rules for the
closed.
road very well. Well, they're supposed
So-
to slow down and maybe even
Well,
stop.
he was just walking.
Yeah, no, I know.
walking down.
I'm talking about the driver.
So I told him, well, we had a nice discussion. I told him we have a lot of issues we're working within the town right now that I would mention this certainly and bring it up, but it's, it's not something I'm sure we can address as an immediate high
No, I
priority
mean, in fact,
type thing, et
I think we
cetera.
just didn't we just
So,
repave Noon
yeah,
Peak-
we just
Noon Peak?
repaved it.
Big, and
Um,
I can't add a sidewalk through there because of the utilities.
Yeah.
And the ditch lines on the side.
yeah, so
So.
basically for him, he's walking down the side, there's basically a ditch there. His only bailout's to basically jump in the ditch, if you will.
Yeah, and we've had
It's something
complaints, not recently,
we may
but we've
need
had
to think
complaints
about
about
some.
speeding on Noon Peak as
Yes.
well.
Quite a bit,
Really?
yes.
Yeah, but not that I've heard recently. I don't know if you've heard
Really?
anything
I see
recently.
it.
You see it, that's right, that's
Yeah.
right. That's right, it's,
Yeah.
Chief
it's,
Bear
yeah.
has done.
The study.
Historically, a number
Yeah.
of directed patrols
yeah,
and even invited those that had complained to sit in the car and watch
Yeah.
the radar.
and they're not going over. Yeah,
And it is amazing that people see the car coming down the hill, it's 25 there, and many of them, almost all of them were not speeding.
yeah, no, I remember that, I
Yeah.
remember that.
Yeah,
Maybe it's a question, when it comes to pedestrians, maybe it's a question that no one likes to hear this, but maybe it's a question of more signage.
It's my favorite thing.
I think there's. So if I see a pedestrian, I will move across the yellow line, move around them, okay? Technically, that's illegal.
no,
No.
state
Isn't it?
law tells you, you have to.
You gotta.
Oh, okay, well,
Yeah.
that's good.
You
I don't
have
think
to.
people
You gotta give
understand
3
that.
feet and anything
Because-
over, I think.
I've been
35
in
miles an hour
states
and
where
then
it
10
was
miles an hour
illegal.
after
But
that,
just don't
you
do it
have
when there's
to-
a car coming the other
Yeah.
direction.
No, I've been in states where it was very explicitly illegal to do that, and I'm like, okay. So, but I do that anyway as a
Live till you
safety
die,
matter.
remember?
And it's possible, maybe a sign that says move over for pedestrians or something
I don't know.
would
we-
be helpful, something.
Well, in the spring, we perennially look at some signage,
No.
especially for the multi-use pad, so maybe we can add this
It's,
to the.
it's just something to think
To the
about.
mix, and I know, and one of the
Yeah.
things I was gonna go with Reggie's comments was we still are looking at what can we do in the winter with regard to
Right.
the multi-use paths to
Yeah.
make it plain, we don't want cars driving in that area, what can we put down? I think you had mentioned perhaps a stronger type of delineator as a
Yeah.
possibility.
Looking at options. we can use,
Right.
Our current delineators, put epoxy down, screw them into the ground.
What about a rumble strip?
Oh, yeah, you're talking about, we've talked about those.
A lot of places that,
Whatever the town wants.
a lot of towns that put them in, then take them out because of the noise nuisance for anyone living near them.
Oh,
Yeah, we've looked at those, we've looked
Okay.
at
We can get
speed humps, we've looked at flamingos.
I don't think speed humps work.
Yeah.
planters, so they're
Yeah.
a reinforced planter.
Yep,
If you want something to be maintained.
but that makes it difficult to plow.
If we put them within a certain
spacing.
spacing.
Yeah,
it
you can
be okay.
get through them. All right, well, again, let's talk about this as we usually do every spring,
Yes.
about how to deal with some of these issues.
Yep.
Very good.
Okay.
Anything else?
Looking for February vacation week, the trash truck driver, has a family member who's undergoing back surgery. So it'll be sometimes where he will be either late or not able to come in. But we will be working diligently when they are here to pick up as much trash as possible.
We just got the one.
We just have the one, so I just wanted to let everybody know that that is coming, so, especially during February vacation.
There isn't another member of your team who has the option to step in if really in a pinch?
He will, he will step in, when we are in a pinch, but I don't know quite what the weather will be like for vacation week. Right now, it's showing we're gonna have about 3 storms for vacation week, so obviously
Sounds
Prime
about
is gonna
right.
take priority, but
Okay.
just to let y'all know.
Yeah.
And let everybody else know as well.
Well, I mean, we certainly can reinforce, not that it necessarily will be heated, that people can always bring their trash to the transfer station.
Yeah.
I mean, that's always, people don't want to hear that, but
Exactly.
that is a possibility as well.
Yeah, well, it is hard for the commercials.
Well, the commercial, except for the commercials, the
Yeah.
commercials, no, you can, that eliminate, you don't have to do the other 70 some odd,
Right.
well, whatever it is, minus the commercials.
Down to 10, 11 people,
Right.
so,
Yeah,
no,
get rid of those off, right, just those and not have to
you get
do,
those done in a day.
yeah.
So.
Is this
Jen, looking at hopefully May, right now for the CDL for.
Oh, for enrolling in the CDL course? Okay. Cool.
Very good. Yeah, I have one observation on the transfer station. I think it would be helpful to make sure you have a contingency plan in the event of really bad weather. I think that Sunday, a couple Sundays ago, where we had really bad, heavy weather, predicted coming in, lots of snow. I know we're trying to help people, but staying open to 5 o'clock on a Sunday when there's much snow coming is not necessarily the most safe thing for our staff, so.
And I agree, I know we had that select board meeting before, during that week, and I thought about it the next day, especially looking at the temperatures, and I was doing things to make sure it'd be warm
Right.
in there, so. Felt like it was a little short notice to put it out on Facebook that it possibly could close earlier.
Short notice is better than no notice. I would just make that point, but no, I think if you it's just a little bit of, prior planning, maybe ahead of time. I'm fully supportive. If you're talking safety of town staff, if you need to go out, when you go out, then you need to close early or the potential of closing early, you put the word out. Whether it's Facebook, the town mailer, right? All the email addresses that have signed up for it. Again, I know I say this ad nauseum, but people have agency. If the weather looks bad and the place may be closed, or they say they may be closed, take your trash early. Full stop.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, the health club closed at noon, I think, that day.
yeah,
And they just, people gotta get home. We're
yeah,
supposed to get
and I was
hammered.
really worried with Jen there to 5 o'clock. And
Yeah.
by then, it was supposed to be 4 hours. Snow was supposed to start at 1.
Right.
I
And
mean,
actually-
she was also the plow crew.
And she's on the
as
plow
well
crew,
anyways.
right, so maybe it wasn't, just flip over, so to speak, to another function, but anyway, I do think it would be helpful to have contingency plans in those situations, even if we don't remind you, I mean, you forget. Anything else?
Nope, that is it.
Great. Dylan,
Just kind of keep it up with operations.
pumping up the water and
Yeah.
pumping out,
One thing that
The
is
bad
that
water.
is scheduled to happen next Friday, we've been waiting for a part for almost 6 months now. We actually had to have two of them custom made inside the facility by a machine shop because.
This is the wastewater?
Yes. Our two sludge pumps that off of our reactor clarifiers. You can't.
They don't make anymore, right?
Yeah, you can't get
Right.
the pump seals for them. So we had to have two made up by a machine shop. So we've been waiting. And the 13th, so next Friday, is when those are scheduled to be installed. So they've been in rough shape about that 6 month period.
Mhm.
Basically, have been the seals themselves have basically failed. So they just dump water continuously when they run. But
Mhm.
it is what it is, and that'll be good to get those taken care of because it improves operation efficiency, more water, less water you're wasting out of your pumps when they run, more water processing through the facility, obviously. So other than that, we had a big well-deserved vacation for one of my staff members. We just got back this past Monday. So that was
Good, he
for
came
them
back.
good for them to get for them to get a vacation, but also good to have them back. So,
Sure.
Other than that, unless you have any questions.
Nope, everybody's doing well then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I meant to ask that to you, Megan. Everyone's hanging in there? Okay, great. Any questions for Dylan? Great. Steve, administrative services and or rec. We gotta get Brooke earlier. I know she's here, then she leaves. I have to put her at the very top of the agenda to do her report.
Yeah.
Remind me next
I
time.
think she has some appointments with her daughter that she has to
All
make.
right. Just,
for the next.
yeah, flag that up for me. We'll just put her at the very top,
Sure.
so, you know, you're not stuck with having to give her, and she doesn't get her time to impress the board, so,
Yeah, we can queue her up a little earlier.
yeah,
Is
yeah.
that what we're talking?
Sure doesn't sound like that.
Well, not from my perspective.
Well, I would not say that. Let's just assume that it's working well. So anyway, admin,
I provided just a year-to-date
Yeah.
report for our expenses and revenues. Just now, sorry, I didn't get them in the packet for you. But nothing is jumping out at me, particularly as of any concern. The revenues are tracking as planned for this time of year, and department heads are doing a good job keeping expenses under control until March, and we get our budget approved, hopefully get our budget approved, and that's where we're at. Otherwise, administration, we've been busy, a lot of walk-ins, a lot of phone calls. Nothing out of the norm, really, just motor vehicle registrations and
yeah.
general inquiries. I don't know, Chris, if you had any interactions of late that you want to bring up? Everything good? Just busy. Yeah.
It's that time of year. I mean, it's just with everything. Yeah, even more so, maybe, I don't know.
Town report prep is going well.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get finished almost to it on Friday.
Great.
Did you get a picture?
Well, I'm gonna use one of yours, I just haven't.
Oh, you are, okay.
Good.
Have you figured
Yeah, I
out
guess
which
we
one?
gotta get that out soon, don't we?
Our plan is for sending the printer our final version mid-February,
Get it. Well, I hope to send it in by next week,
next week,
I hope.
and then for print and
Hopefully get it by the 2nd of March.
have it a week before town meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I brought mine to town meeting.
Oh, yeah, well, we put
Yes,
it
you-
in
Got stacks of.
stacks of them there and then
Yeah,
at the post office ahead of time and
Yeah.
at here ahead of time for people to
Yeah.
come. Pick up by.
thank you for that. That's a
Yes.
lot of work. I appreciate it.
One wonders, I'm just musing whether having a printed report, and I muse this often with Mark, is something we really want to continue doing in the 21st century, but that's another question. I'll leave it out on the table.
Mm.
Anything else?
Not off the top of my head, do you guys have any questions? No?
How's town manager job coming? Are you doing great? I think you're doing great.
No, thanks, Dan. I'm just trying to stay afloat, that's all. I don't, focus right now is on the budget hearing next week, and
Yep.
I'm hoping to have a nice presentation, at least a draft of that ready for you tomorrow morning, and I'm committed to work over the weekend if we need to get that tightened up for Tuesday.
Great, great.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did your daughter's team win?
They get killed last night,
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
2-34.
Yeah,
Ooh,
isn't that
ouch.
34-2? I mean,
34-2. In her defense, it was basically a fifth grade team playing against seventh graders, so I'm happy.
and you know, those seventh graders, they're killers, right?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so, and Rec, anything,
She
Rec?
did not share anything with me this week, so
Right.
I don't have an update for you. I apologize.
Let's move on to calendar review.
Oh, yep.
So, we have our, budget and bond hearing at 6 p.m. on the 10th. Thank you, Reggie. Good seeing you. Oh, by the way, your email, worked to, I'm forgetting his name,
Oh, Gerald.
Daryl, yeah. The sign looks as it should. Yeah,
We're gonna
good,
try, put a post there for Wonder Points.
great,
Also.
great.
we're gonna start with flags for it, historic.
Yeah, yeah, and I would love you guys to work with the town on using the town,
Yes.
Colors.
Look,
logo, thank you,
No, I think that's great.
because we have our own logo. Thank
Very
you.
good.
Yes, which I think should be on the town-owned sign, as a matter of fact, coming into town, and that's another
I
discussion.
think that's good. I like your idea.
That's something we should,
Something should be removed.
thanks, Reggie,
Thank you.
okay,
Say grass.
right, I'm willing to explore that. Okay, so annual budget and bond hearing, everything's set with let me back up, so the school board, and then on the 9th, we're on the 10th. And then, those two are in the multipurpose room, everything's all set with our AV company, blah, blah, blah. Everything
We're
good?
planning for the gym,
Oh, we're gonna do it all in the gym,
the budget.
Does the school know that?
because when we talked at the
No, we
joint meeting, they talked about the multipurpose room.
Yes.
For the hearings, but the gym for the town meeting.
Oh, okay, I wasn't aware of that. I communicated to NHAV to plan for the gym. I can
Okay.
ask Brian if he can use his equipment that he has in the multi-purpose room. I'm just fearful that there might be some space constraints with the large screen.
Well, no, I don't mind, I mean, if it's the gym,
As
it's
long as the
fine.
school knows that.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I've been
Circle
working
back.
with Brooke and she's been talking to.
all right,
Lindsay.
make sure, because at our
Yeah.
meeting, there was something about the gym, I think, that they didn't
Yeah.
like.
they are doing their school piece in
In the
the
multipurpose.
multi-purpose.
Yeah.
But
On the 9th, and then we're coming at it on the
Yeah.
10th.
Just.
I'll tighten that up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just whichever works for everybody, I
Yeah.
mean.
Yep.
The 10th, and then we're gonna be definitely in the gym on the
Yeah.
11th for our, which is now gonna be a public hearing. Legally has to be a public hearing, select board, special meeting, public hearing, because we're all three of us are gonna be there.
Okay.
I shared with them when we
Yeah.
started. to do
Oh,
Yeah,
that.
I don't know why,
Oh, that's
I don't know
how-
why I didn't catch it, or
Yeah.
we didn't catch it.
no, I know. Should
We
have
could have
known
caught
it.
that whenever there's two of us, then it becomes
Yeah.
we gotta make it a meeting.
Yeah,
So, everything, all right, so, That's
AV's
good.
all queued up. I'm sure if we need to shift and jive which room we go in, it
Yeah.
shouldn't be a big problem, but I'll find out.
I mean, if the audio video is gonna work better in the gym and the school's okay with that, I mean, that's the place to go
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
For both of our hearings.
for both of our hearings, yeah.
Yeah. Planning for some strong attendance.
Yeah, I think the main issue is I don't know what their PE day is right
There was
now.
something, I don't have my notes with
And
me in
once
that
the
meeting.
stuff is set up, it will have to be, have to remain that way, so you
Yeah.
gotta make
Yeah.
sure we're not interfering with their
Well, in this
program.
case, 3 days, right?
Yeah,
Right, he's setting
Monday,
up on
Tuesday, and
Sunday.
now Sunday, so
yeah,
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
yeah.
Can you just make a note, Chris, to reach out to Brian and see what his thought process is for
Well,
I
next week?
already saw an email from him and Brooke today.
Oh, good.
Right, just
Yeah.
close the loop on that, yeah,
Yep.
that's all right. So we have now our public hearing on the 11th, as I just mentioned, that's also 6 p.m. And then our regular planning board meeting is next week, 8:30 p.m. here. And our next regular select board meeting is here on the 18th at 3 p.m. Is there anything else we need to add?
That's it.
That's enough.
That's a lot.
Enough? Okay, I think, why don't we pass on a non-public session?
Yeah.
Because we already had one and it just got confusing. We'll do the non-public on the dedication to
Yeah.
to this, on the 18th. Yep.
Yeah.
Is there any correspondence?
I have none.
Wow.
Do you
Wow.
wanna mention all the various emails that have been around from
About, no,
No,
about
that's
budgets and
not,
stuff?
no.
Okay,
not applicable to town.
Yeah, that's just citizens talking to each other. I don't think we should
okay, they've been,
comment on that.
okay, we've been receiving them.
Yeah, no, we're on there. That's fine. I think best we leave it.
Okay,
All right, if there's nothing else, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Adjourn, so moved.
I
Do
will
I have-
second
All in
that.
favor?
Aye.
And
Oh my
5
goodness, we can
5:12.
still eat dinner.
We can still sit
Actually-
outside.
see us,
Completely
yeah,
dark.
well, it's getting more and more that way.